And now, coming to you live from the Chocolate Bar Studios, Tropical Country with B-Dawg and Lou.
I like the steel drums played with the steel guitar. I go to honky-tonks and to tiki bars. I like girls in bikinis wearing tight blue jeans. I like the fiddle played with marimba thrown in and the conga drum beat behind the mandolin. I was raised in the country but still love the sound of the sea. I wear a cowboy hat with my bathing suit. I'm just a country boy who likes to sit under a palm tree. I'm not all mixed up, I just like my music. Tropical Country.
Oh yeah, it's Wednesday night. It's Hump Day! Welcome to Tropical Country with B-Dawg and Lou right here on Tiki Man Radio. We're coming to you live from the Chocolate Bar Studios here in beautiful Harrison Bay overlooking the majestic Chickamauga Lake. Of course, we're broadcasting live on Tiki Man Radio, TikiManRadio.com, and the Tiki Man Radio YouTube channel, courtesy of MFG Records Tropical Live Camp. Our show is brought to you by JBL Legends Travel, the partner and official travel company of Tiki Man Radio and partner for the second annual Tiki Man Radio Escape to Paradise. Before you plan your next getaway, don't try to scour the internet all by yourself. Try to find a good deal. Trust that to a professional like Joe at JBL Legends Travel. Give him a call at 732-831-5200. Goaltending Services GTS Charters is the premier charter service down in Key West. When you go down to Key West, do not sell yourself short and miss all the fun you can have out there on the water, back in that back country, out on a sandbar. And you can do it all with Goaltending Services and give them a call at 305-916-0990. All right. My partner in crime, let me get that over there. Laura Lou she's over in the corner tonight. I put baby in the corner.
Hey, y'all. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm better now.
I know. He's had a couple drinks. He's talked to Dave for a while. He's good to go.
Well, speaking of Dave, our special guest in studio tonight, the master of the keys, the singer-songwriter extraordinaire, MC.
That would be you.
No way.
The professional MC, Mr. Dave Freeman.
How you guys? Wow. See, that's cool. I like that a lot.
Hey, the crowd goes wild just for you.
You know, when I went on the back deck and I saw all these people hanging out, I was like, what y'all here for? And they're like, this is the pre-party. I was like, wow, this is very cool.
They are all here for you.
You know what? They heard there's a party on a Wednesday night. That's why they're here.
That's right.
What a great place this is. I had no idea. This is my first time, to the Magic Kingdom, and this is really cool.
We're going to have we welcome you to, Tiki Man Radio Studios. Yeah. Welcome to Tropical Country. And we are going to have a fantastic time tonight. We're going to have fun. As you notice, I posted this is the sequel. So if you missed back in October and you was on the show via video.
I think that's right. September, October, something like that.
Yeah. And so we got to talk to him a little bit, but as you know, the video interviews are a little short, but we got him for
We needed more.
We need more, so we got 2 full hours tonight to have fun and talk about everything that you're up to. But as always, before we kick off everything, we got to tell you, welcome to the show.
Cowboy throwdown here in H-Town, where we're stronger than a hurricane. From miles around, best of the best come here to put their tough to the test. Give it all for gold or go home broke when they open up that gate. Welcome to the show, welcome to the home of the world's biggest rodeo, where the stars light up the night underneath that Texas sky. Welcome to the show, are you ready for a ride? Yeah, you better buckle up and hold on tight, where the Bayou City streets meet the country country roads. Welcome to the show. It's a Houston tradition, 4-H, FFA, and go Texan. And you can bet, son, it's gonna be around a long, long time. When these riders and ropers give it their best, we'll show them how loud the hometown crowd can get. 'Cause tonight, y'all, we all got a little bit of cowboy deep inside. Welcome to the show, welcome to the home of the world's biggest rodeo, where the stars light up the night underneath that Texas sky. Welcome to the show, are you ready for a ride? Yeah, you better buckle up and hold on tight, where the Bayou City streets meet the country roads. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, are you ready for a ride? Yeah, you better buckle up and hold on tight, where the Bayou City streets meet the country roads. Where the Bayou City streets meet these country roads. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. We're going to have a great time tonight. Dave Freeman is in the studio, and he brings a party wherever he goes.
Well, I brought presents tonight, so can
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So first of all, I found out that from Lou that it is appropriate to bring my gift in a Walmart bag.
That's right. McKinney wrapping paper.
I did not know this, but I'm going to hand this to Lou. To
Oh,
look at.
absolutely.
And I'm going to tell you a story that you might know this or you may not know this, but my debut on Instagram was taking a picture of you guys.
Really?
Gosh.
How
So-
cool is that?
Do I get to open it now?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Oh my God, I love it, honey. So, for those of you who don't know the story behind this picture, so we were at the lake.
Lake Fest.
Percy
At
Priest,
Lake
yep.
Fest, thank you, at Percy Priest. We were doing a live broadcast, and so Dave performed, and we were so enthralled with his performance, we missed who was on the stage with him. But we were watching Dave, and Dave comes off the stage, and all of a sudden he's like, "Hey Lou, come here a minute." So he pulls out his phone and shows me. There was a picture of B-Dawg leaning against this big old sign, and
Oh, you're in it too.
oh yeah, oh, God, that's
Giving
awful.
me the eye like, what are you doing taking my picture?
I know. I was trying to turn around really fast before you snapped it.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize what he was taking a picture of, but so B-Dawg is leaning against this big white
Barrier.
thing.
Yes.
And spray painted on it, unbeknownst to B-Dawg, as he's leaning on it, unbeknownst to B-Dawg, it says "Turn around, do not enter," right across Brian's
Backside.
backside. So it was the funniest. Oh no, I just shifted it wrong. Hold on.
That's all right. It might need a piece of tape
Here, babe.
because, you know.
I
You gotta
can't
show
reach.
'em.
I can't reach
Hold
it.
Hold on, I'll pass it over.
That's over him.
It's just like
So
the
he
dinner
can put
table.
it on camera.
Just like
That's
the
right.
dinner table.
All right, let me get it over here. So you,
That is the funniest
all right,
thing
I'm
ever.
gonna get that.
You might need a piece
There
of
you
tape,
go.
but you know how this works.
All right, so there it is. Me leaning up and watching all the performances on stage, and I did not know that was behind me. So that is awesome.
It was
That was my
so-
Instagram debut. I
Your
never
Instagram
posted on
debut.
Instagram at
Forgot
all,
about that.
and I was like looking like, what kind of picture am I going to have? This is it right here in front of me. So there it is.
Oh my gosh, it
So-
was the best debut. I had forgotten that was your Instagram debut.
Yeah.
Well, would you be surprised though? Tonight is also a special treat. Also, you are our final guest of season 2 of Tropical Country. Next week is our anniversary. So
You know, I'm waiting for the season 1 DVD to come in the mail. I didn't get that yet. So
you're going to be waiting a while if you're wanting to do.
Season one.
it's on Blu-ray. And
Season 1 was not that. You probably don't want that one.
No,
I'm just
especially
saying.
the 1-year anniversary show.
Was there some drinking involved?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. The highlight was the fact that we had Dave Signs in studio.
Thank God.
But technically, anything and everything that could go wrong in the studio went wrong that night.
Well, that's because you had all these technical people that knew what to do.
Right.
God said, all right, let me go show you how this works.
Exactly.
What
right.
could possibly go wrong? I'll show you.
Well, as Danny says, don't get too cocky around radio, because radio will show you who's boss.
Yeah.
And boy, it did that night, because just when I thought I had the handle on everything, we'd been promoting the hell out of that show. It just all went down almost in flames, but Dave rescued us that night.
Yeah, Dave signed it. Dave rescued us.
Yes, he did.
So I learned my lesson about that kind of attitude. My first steady gig I ever had in my life, which was in Lehighton, Pennsylvania. Can't get there from here. And we played every Wednesday night. And for the first, 3 months, everything that could go wrong each one of those nights happened. And you're wondering why they're asking you back. And it's like, well, the people are drinking. They think it's funny watching you patching chords and soldering stuff and all that. And then I realized behind us on the stage was the old Milwaukee clock. And it said, it can't get any better than this.
Oh,
So every time we'd be like, hey, it couldn't get any better? It can't get any better than this. So, yeah, that's where I learned.
That's funny.
Let it go.
That is funny. I mean, I'm so superstitious about it. That is the first time that I mentioned that next week it begins our third season.
Yeah.
I haven't
Season 3.
I have not even mentioned it. So, because I just don't want to jinx it.
And
so.
we could not end season 2 any better.
No, absolutely
I'm
not.
so excited that you finally made it into town.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you know this, but when you're doing the remote thing, there's an echo. And so you guys would talk, and then it would be like it was a delay.
A delay,
Right,
yeah.
It's really hard to, and you hate doing that whole, oh, no, you go. Oh, no, you go. And it's
Right.
Right.
And I was like, I got to go up there. These guys are having way too much fun. And, my countdown to going to gigs on Sundays is listening to the Tiki Man show. And
Nice.
so I'm always on the way to a gig on a Sunday doing that. And it's just like so chill because you guys are all having such a great time. And now to come and see this place and be like, wow,
Now
there really
you know
is a coffee
why.
machine. They really have 18 bars here.
Yeah.
There really is a crowd waiting outside. Like,
You thought we was lying when you said there was all the bars here, didn't you?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't realize that there was always 50 or 60 people out back all the time.
Well, it's constant party around here. I mean, Tiki Man built an entertainment venue, and he's constantly packing the house.
There
Right.
was Branson, there was Dollywood, and then there's Tiki Man Radio.
That's
So
right.
he's even got the sign out there that it's Tiki Land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next thing he needs is his own zip code.
Well,
Right.
give him time.
Yeah.
It may happen. It may
Around
well
here,
happen.
you say one idea, and you come back the next week, and it has happened. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, we got any shout-outs we want to get into?
We do.
All right.
So lots of people tuning in for Dave tonight.
Of course. He's a superstar.
Right?
Oh, man, stop.
Right?
Superstar.
My family is going to clear that up right now. Whoever's there.
So we have Miss Kathy Ledbetter out there. Hello,
Hey,
to you and
Kathy.
Darby.
I miss them.
I do too. And she sent me the best beach video of the water the other day, and it was perfect. And Miss Maureen is out there tonight.
Hey,
So hello
Maureen.
to you. Again, she's at a basketball game listening to us on low.
I love it.
She is dedicated, I'm telling
She
you.
is.
I love it.
Monica, the producer, is out there. Hi, Monica.
Hi.
Of
Monica.
course, that would be producer Monica of The Big Show. She is the producer of The Big Show, Sunday mornings with the Tiki Man, right here on Tiki Man Radio every Sunday at 10 a.m.
And the Beach Buddha is out there. He is.
Did you
I
say
said it.
Did you say Beach Buddha?
I did.
Well, we can't talk about the Beach Buddha without talking about the official coffee of Tiki Man Radio. It is the best roast, coast to coast. Take a trip with every sip. Beach Buddha coffee. And if you want to know more, go over to TikiManRadio.com and click on that coffee tab and see which brew is right for you.
So Buddha is currently filling orders as we speak. How do you do that every week?
Nice.
So yes, if you haven't ordered your Beach Buddha coffee, you better get on it because he's currently working on those orders while he's listening to us.
All right.
Giraffe is out there.
Hello to Giraffe and little Grayson and JT too.
Yes. And little G, Grayson says he loves Mama and Papa.
Aw.
Eric Tittle says hello again from the Buckeye State.
OH, brother.
Ohio.
That's right. And let me see. Maria is out there. So hello, Maria.
Hold on. There you go. There you can wave.
Now you can wave.
There you go. I was a little slow on the trigger.
11 hours away, baby. 11 hours away.
He's coming home soon. Let me see. The hippie chick is out there.
Woo, of course.
Hello to you. And the ambassador is out there listening.
The ambassador of all great things, Mi-chelle Myers. Of course, we got to hang out with her last Sunday.
Oh, it was so much fun. Mm-hmm. And she said she is super excited to see Dave.
Wow.
Yes. Caleb is out there. Hello, Caleb.
Hey, Caleb. Haven't been around for a while.
I know,
so
he's been a busy guy.
I'm glad to have you back.
Yeah. Patty with an eye. Hello to you.
That would be Patty with a Rick's eye.
And we love you, Patty.
Yeah.
Tiki Man is out there.
Hello to the Tiki Man.
And yes, please give us a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already.
Hit like.
Hit like. Subscribe.
First thing I do every time is like, Dave, oh, yeah.
Nice. Nice. See, that's one of the reasons we love you.
Yeah.
Dana Kay is out there.
Hey, Dana.
Hello, Dana. She says hello to Patty and Mi-chelle as well. Let me see.
I have a Patty story for you, by the way.
Oh, you do?
I told you guys
Please.
this on the air.
Love Patty stories.
So I forget what show it was y'all were doing, and you're talking about where Patty's from. And you said New Tripoli, and I went, oh, no, it's New Tripoli. I know this. 'cause I grew-
Totally, yeah.
So it turns out that Patty used to come and follow one of the first bands I was ever in.
Really?
yeah.
And we have a mutual friend. The first person I ever really wrote with or sang my demos was this fantastic female singer who was in Nashville for a while. Her name is Val Borman.
Okay.
And so Patty followed that band all the time. They were called the Starlights. And then, of course, Rick the Stick was the first DJ that I ever heard play country music growing up in Allentown, Pennsylvania. So I would have never heard I thought Eddie Rabbitt was the coolest country music person ever until I heard Rick the Stick and found out, oh, there's some other people that play country music too.
That is awesome.
That's a true story.
That is awesome.
How cool is that?
Yeah. And I would have never found that out had I not been listening to you guys, and had you not mispronounced the word.
Yeah.
I would have never made the connection to who Patty was.
Well,
That's
Just
so
bringing
cool.
people together.
go figure.
Every day.
Go figure. My mouth would get me in trouble, and
No.
but would make a connection at the same time.
That's
B-Dawg
right.
connecting people all over the interweb.
Hey, that's
That's
what
right.
I do, right?
Hello, Golden Girl.
Hello to Claudia.
We miss you.
Hello to Golden too. We can't not say hello to Golden.
No, we cannot miss saying hello to Golden. We miss you guys. Let me see here. So, sorry. So, Maria says, hello, my Dave. Let me see. Rick the Stick did tune in tonight. He says, hello, Dave.
Woo-woo. Of course, that would be Rick the Stick of Rick's Hometown Licks right here on Tiki Man Radio every Sunday night at 5.
Now, is Rick going to be able to be on his show? When do the Eagles play on? Are they on Sunday or are they on Saturday?
I'm not sure.
Because I can promise you that he will be
I
on
was going to say,
eyes to the prize.
he might need to.
Yeah.
He's going to have to
multitask.
record it. He'll just have to record it.
Yeah. He'll be on the radio screaming, go! Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I don't care about much as long as my Bengals are there at the end.
Yeah,
so
well, you're going to be.
So hopefully, maybe the Bengals and the Eagles. That'll be quite interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It would figure. I get Ohio State and Georgia in
Right.
college,
Yeah.
and it would be my luck that we end up with hopefully Cincinnati and
Well, you don't want a
Philadelphia.
Bengals 49ers rematch. Dude,
No. Let's not do that.
Well,
Not at all.
Patty with an eye said they're sitting in the Hilton, Baltimore, waiting to fly out to St. Louis.
BWI.
Uh oh.
Shoddy with Scotty.
Said the word.
She said it.
That's hysterical.
Some things never get old, and that's
Nope.
it.
Well, Mi-chelle says she cannot wait for the SAC Awards again in Key West in November. She said that was epic.
That whole story, how that all came about, is just the funnest part of all of it. Because Tim and Patty asked me, and we hadn't really thought anything about it. And then we got together, and we just, everything that they all had thought about, we all put it together, and it went really quick. And it was fun because, it had no scripted idea.
Yeah, we were unfortunately we had to watch it from home. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm gonna lie. I almost lied. We didn't get to
No.
watch it from home. We actually was watching it with the Leadbetters down in Panama City. Because you all went to Key West and we went to Panama City and hung out with Darby and Kathy.
That's cool.
So we got to watch the video of it, and you guys were just having way too much fun.
Well, Patty puts this whole thing together, and it was so cool. And it was like, but wait a minute, and then I'm going on the internet, and at the very moment, the perfect picture shows up. Like, that's how you know something's cool, right? It's working really well because, we need a picture. Well, let me Google. Oh, there it is. And it was the day that Fireball Steve from Tampa Bay decided to wear the most ridiculous outfit ever. So he gets to get in the contest, and it was
nice.
Like, so it was perfect. It was fun. And and I brought my Bad News Bears jersey because I figured what else describes a shunned coalition of artists than
I saw that and I'm like, I got to get me one of those.
And it's got the Chico's bail bond. Oh, here's an actual funny story. So I see Rick the Stick. I met him for the first time there. And he goes, "Oh, did you play for Chico's Bail Bonds?" And I remember that there was a softball team in Allentown that actually was called Chico's Bail Bonds.
Oh, really?
And he thought it was, I was like, "Oh, no, this is the movie." There was a movie before there was a team in Allentown. Like,
that's right.
But the local bail bondsman, then there's only one in Allentown because they don't do that stuff up there. It's not cool.
Right.
But he renamed his company Chico's Bail Bonds after that happened. Yeah. So
how cool
funny.
is that?
Yep.
That is cool.
Yep.
Well, Callie McCool says hello.
Hello to Callie over there in California on the West Coast.
Yeah. And Maria bailed us out. She said 49ers versus the Eagles on Sunday at 3 p.m.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
So he has enough time.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Rick, just pray no overtime.
Right? So
You can't have any overtime.
if Rick's a little late coming to the show, stay tuned. He's coming. It just might be a little bit late.
He may be just a little late.
Well, what you don't want to have happen is that the game is over at halftime, and then he just turns out and he's, "Hi guys," or "Hey," whatever one.
Yeah.
That can happen.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think that's going to happen. Though.
Well, you're in trouble, B-Dawg.
Shocker.
I know. But
Shocker that I'm in trouble.
Somebody, Rick said, "I thought you were a Browns fan. You can't be both." And I said, well, he gave up on the Browns.
I did.
And so Patty said, you can't be, how did she say it? You can't be a jumper.
Listen, let me tell you something.
Bandwagon.
Let me tell you how
rider.
this
That's
all came about, all right? Yes, I was a Browns fan for years because I grew up in Browns country.
Okay.
And, I always said, the best thing a Browns fan can have is a backup team. So I was also a Carolina Panthers fan for a very, very long time. However, I was a fan of Joe Burrow when he was at Ohio State. I felt that he got a raw deal when he was at Ohio State and when he went to LSU. I rooted for the LSU Tigers just because of Joe Burrow.
Right.
And now that, like I said, hometown boy, he's back in Ohio, Southern Ohio, and he's, he's not a bust.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. And so Joe Burrow is the reason why I jumped. I'm a fan of the player, and I like what's going on there in Cincinnati. And I think that a lot of the analysis, a lot of them say that he is because they say there's generational quarterbacks.
Yes.
Our generation, we had Joe Montana.
Yes.
And then the generation came where there's Tom Brady.
Before that was Terry Bradshaw.
Before that was Terry Bradshaw.
Yep.
So they're saying that, of all the great quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes and all of them, a lot of them are labeling and saying Joe Burrow, they believe, can be that generational quarterback.
I hope so because I love my Pittsburgh Steelers. Love my Pittsburgh Steelers. But I tend to follow players more than teams other than Pittsburgh. And so that's why I started watching. I loved listening to him even in interviews and things. He just seems like a genuinely good guy.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoy watching him. The ambassador said, heck no, B-Dawg, you can't give up on the Browns and switch. No, sir.
Let me tell you what, the Browns can't get out of their own way.
Correct.
All right? It is what it is.
I have said this for years about the Browns, Dave. So do you remember the movie
Major League.
Major League?
Absolutely.
I swear that's what goes on in the Browns office.
I don't think you're wrong.
See?
How can we make this team worse this year?
Yeah, they really do. It just amazes me.
Well, I want to bail you out.
All right.
I'm going to help you a little bit. Because Rick the Stick doesn't know this, but I believe in confessions, and now that I'm here at the Cathedral of the Tiki, I have to come clean.
I was going to say Confessions, that's the other show on Friday night.
No. These are not Key West confessions.
All right,
I don't feel comfortable doing those just now, especially knowing that Maria is listening. I'm not going to do that at all. Actually, every good thing I've ever done in life, she's been there, so she already knows the answer. It's a true story. But I am not an Eagles fan, and I am not a Steelers fan.
Okay.
Because
coming from where you come from?
My grandfather was one of the original owners of the Green Bay Packers.
Stop
Really?
it.
Yeah. So my grandfather owned a paper company, and there were 5 companies. That packing company was one of them, and there were 4 other companies, and he owned one of those. And so I've had family members at every home game since 1915, before they were in the NFL. They played at a high school, the whole thing, and this is why me and Kirsty are good friends, because I got the whole Wisconsin thing, and I spent all my summers in Wisconsin, and I rooted for the Packers when they. Not going to say the word. I promise not to curse. But, so they were terrible. And what was funny was growing up, I had a yellow raincoat, so people thought I was a Steelers fan, and then they would see the green letters and go, "What's wrong with you?" So all the Steeler fans hated me, and all the Eagles fans hated me, and my uncle, my godfather, was like he's a huge Eagles fan, and he's like, "What's wrong with you?" And but we would go to games whenever the Packers played in Philadelphia. We went. When they played at the Meadowlands, we went up to those games, and so I've always been a Packers fan, and I've worked in football, and I got to work home games for the Jets and the Giants,
right?
And I still always rooted for the Packers.
Wow.
and unlike half of Packer Nation right now, I love Aaron Rodgers, and I like him a lot more than the other guy that he replaced, who I never liked and thought was the worst quarterback I ever saw in my life, which got me kicked off of the Packer band. My family stopped talking to me. You can't talk bad about him. Why not? He's terrible. We're not going to win for 5 years until he retires. That's it. Don't invite David to Thanksgiving. Nope. You know why Maria's never been to Wisconsin? Because I didn't like Brett Favre.
Oh, wow.
It's a true story. So we're going to go. We were going to go this year, actually, and then some other stuff, some cool music stuff happened, and
right.
got to pick your trips. But we're going to go eventually. And I still have my dad's side of the family lives up there, and still have places up there, and they still go to football games.
Oh, how
very
cool.
Yeah. My dad's church that he grew up in is a block away from Lambeau Field, and their #1 fundraiser for the church for all their outreach efforts is parking. They took their lot, the church is on, and they paved it. And so church ends at 10:30 on Packer Sundays. There's no sermon. It's the best day to go to church ever. But the service is only 30 minutes long, but they charge, and that's how they do all their outreach in Green Bay for homeless.
And I bet they make a ton of money doing that.
Yeah. It's a big number.
That's fantastic.
It's not as much as they're going to make at the bar here at the Tiki Man, those guys in the back. But it's really close. It's really close.
Cool.
Wow. I was kind of the same way. Like I said, I was also a Panthers fan.
Yeah.
And how that even happened as my backup team was, I lived in North Carolina during the time they were trying to get the franchise.
Right.
So, I got to see, all the ads and, when they was coming out with the designs and them trying to get it. So when I decided I needed a backup team, I'm like, well, I don't really have a connection to any other team. So I just jumped on the bandwagon with Panthers, and then it was the same way. I fell in love with a player, and now he's gone. I was a big Luke Kuechly fan.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's random.
When Luke Kuechly, I know he was one of the best linebackers ever played the game. I'm a defensive guy at heart, and so when he retired, it was like I didn't know what I was really watching for, and especially when they got rid of their best running back and all of that, it was like
they kind of went down.
It was almost like the Browns reincarnated in North Carolina.
And your comment about rooting for players, growing up in the Lehigh Valley of Pennsylvania, there's a lot of guys that went to the NFL.
Yeah.
And so I grew up with Andre Reed. I played basketball with him when I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah, and he's a better basketball player than he was football player, and he's in the Hall of Fame. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, wow.
He was Allen Iverson that played defense. I never met anybody in my life who just sacrificed to go to the hoop and scored every time and would land on the ground and get back up. And I'm like, that's why he plays football. He goes over the flat and gets knocked out and gets right back up and did it. So.
Right.
But
How cool is that?
And Christian McCaffrey's dad was also played in that league too.
Absolutely.
He was a better basketball player than he was a football player growing up. That changed.
Oh, wow.
I was very sad when I saw that McCaffrey went to San Francisco, but I think he's in a better situation now, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
So, which, of course, now all the talk in San Francisco is a Mr. Irrelevant quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's
87th draft pick in the history of mankind.
and he's all of a sudden come out and he's lighting it up.
Yep.
So
He's the Mike Piazza of football right now. You know, Mike Piazza was the last person drafted.
Oh, really?
He was drafted as a favor because his dad was friends with Tony Lasorda. And he said, just draft my kid just to say he got drafted. And they were like, yeah, we don't know what to do with you. And then he went to spring training and he was hitting balls 700 feet. And they went, you're a catcher.
Oh, wow.
We'll find something for you to do.
well, how cool is that?
That's cool. Well, Ed and Pat
Yes.
are out there listening, and they
Hey, guys.
said, Ed said, as a Bears fan, I might have to turn off the show.
Oh.
Go Bears.
So when I was a kid growing up and I go out to Wisconsin for the summer, you know how they used to tell like this kind of joke or that kind of joke?
Yeah.
Well, my grandparents used to tell Bears jokes.
Really?
You know, for example, the favorite one is the kid is having trouble at home and his parents are abusing him and he goes
Right.
to court and says, well, do you want to go live with your mommy or do you want to go live with your daddy? And he says, well, I want to go live with the Chicago Bears. And the judge says, why, Junior, do you want to go live with the Chicago Bears? And he said, because they don't beat anybody.
Ed, I am so sorry. I apologize.
He really is gonna turn
I
it
did
off
not
now.
realize that this man was an imposter from Pennsylvania.
It's all good. It's all good. Bob Parsons was a punter for the Bears. He went to my high school, so there you go.
You went to school with everybody.
He went to my high school. He's a lot older than me.
Oh, okay.
I want to say, you're a really cool guy.
No. But you know who was younger than me that went to my high school? Dwayne Johnson.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I did not
That
know
whole
that.
Baby Rock is about where I grew up.
Really?
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it sad that I haven't seen the show?
I haven't either. He didn't ask any of us to be in it, but why would we? Yeah.
So, Allentown, Pennsylvania, Billy Joel? Is
Yeah.
he, is that the reason why you picked up the keys?
No.
No.
No, not even a little bit.
Okay.
Wow.
So, and that's another funny story. Do you want to hear the Allentown story first?
Sure.
Or my story. So the Allentown story is that Billy Joel's first concert, and we're coming up on the 50th anniversary, is in November.
Mm-hmm.
First time he ever headlined was in a town called Northampton, Pennsylvania, which is near New Tripoli, by the way. And so the reason he did this was the local AM radio station was an AOR station. And they knew who he was, and they played all his songs. And so they called his agent and said, "Hey, we want him to have his own show." And his agent said, "Are you sure you're talking about Billy Joel? He doesn't headline for anybody. He's a opening act piano player." And he said, "No, we want him to come." And no, I don't think we can do that. So 3 or 4 times the guy called and said, "No, seriously, I'm offering you. Well, how much money can we pay you to bring Billy Joel to our little thing?" And he called Billy Joel and said, "Do you want to headline a show?" And he's like, "What, are you kidding? I've been asking you for 5 years why I'm not headlining shows. Let's go." So he went, and they're driving around, maybe smoking a little bit in the car as they're waiting around for the thing. And he said, "Well, where are we?" And they said, "Well, this is Allentown." But they're embarrassed because they're not in Allentown. They're in this. It's like saying we're in Chattanooga right now. We're not in
Oh,
Chattanooga.
yeah.
We're somewhere else.
Right.
So he was in Northampton, but they told him Allentown. And as they were driving around, he sees all the cement factories that are vacant. And he goes, "Wow, Allentown, where all the factories are closing down." And had that idea for 10 years.
Really?
Never wrote the song, never finished it. And then turned it all about being the Vietnam era guys that went to war where their fathers were in World War II and everybody thought they were awesome, greatest generation. They went to Vietnam, everybody treated them like crap. And that's what the song was about.
Oh.
See, you didn't even know that.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So that's what the song was about. So Billy Joel comes out with the song, and the mayor of Allentown comes out and says, "He's banned from town forever, telling people all our factories are closing down. This is terrible." And it was like, dude, this song ain't about you at all. And by the way, your town is going bankrupt. Did you notice? He wasn't wrong. So they made this big story about him never coming there again, and then he came and did a show and said, "I'm coming anyway." And it wasn't in Allentown. It was because I know from play. They had to take him to Bethlehem, and they lied again and told him he was in Allentown. But that's how this story of that song. And originally, he tried to make it Levittown. He was going to make it about a Long Island kid that had the problems, and then he made it the Pennsylvania thing and put the steel in it. But it had nothing to do. That was just setting up the first verse. The whole song was about Vietnam people not getting their due.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yep.
That is cool.
So
yeah, I discovered Billy Joel. I was 9 years old. You know, it was one of the first cassettes that I ever got, and I fell in love with. Everybody thought I was a weird 9-year-old that I liked piano music, but it really resonated with me.
Yeah, and that's, everybody got that little front line of that song, and it's amazing in songwriting. Like, that's what you remember, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know the rest of it because it didn't matter by that point. You're missing other stuff. But and growing up, I was not a Billy Joel fan.
Really?
I really wasn't. I didn't get into that until later on in my life. So when I was 3, my parents took me to church, and it was my first church service they were taking me to. This was like a good one to go to. They did a lot of singing, so if I screw up, they can get me out the door.
Right.
I like to run around a lot and make noise, so this is probably like, precursor to that. And what happened was, they had sung all the church songs at home, or whistled them. Both my parents are musicians, and they had sung them all the time. So when I got into the church service and I heard the melody, I just started singing like top of my lungs. And needless between where you and I are sitting, Lou, was the brand new organist who just become the music department chairperson of the local college. Turned to my dad, who she knew taught at the same school, and said, "When that kid can read, bring him to me."
Wow.
So my dad taught me to read, and I started taking vocal lessons before my 4th birthday.
Oh,
Singing
my
in
gosh.
church, learning how to sing. And then somewhere around 4, my mom was a classical pianist, so she always practiced, and it was, don't touch the keyboard. That's
Right.
mommy's thing, that whole thing.
Right.
If you're going to touch it, you play it the right way. So they're taking a picture, and I was walking over, and somebody's goading me to get close to the piano, much to my mom's horror. And the first thing I played was Benny and the Jets.
Really?
I literally put my hands on the key, and they all just turned and went, what? Keep going, and I was like, and I started, just doing that thing, and it was like, holy, like, this kid, listen to this, like, because I had heard the song and I knew where the notes were, and I had been cheating and, doing that, and then I did that thing. So that's how I started, and I was a big
So you just
Styx
had the
fan.
natural talent.
At that part, yeah. I was a huge Styx fan. That I was really into, like, Come Sail Away and all that stuff. That was my thing, was that and Rush and Genesis, and like Yes was my other big band I listened to growing up. And then
Yes.
the Billy Joel thing, like, and I love pop music. I've always liked anything that was on the radio. And that's how I got into Jimmy Buffett, was listening to the stuff that was on the local radio station, and that's where it all came from, was just listening to tunes, writing them down, and figuring all that stuff out. And then I went to college, and all the piano majors could play all these Billy Joel songs. And I was like, okay, that's cool, whatever, And then eventually I started playing them. I was like, oh, now I get it. Yeah.
Well, here's a little secret. There was a period of time when I was young, all I wanted for Christmas was an electronic keyboard.
Okay.
I finally got it one year for Christmas, and I took 6 months worth of piano lessons. And one of the first songs I told my instructor that I wanted to learn was Uptown Girl.
Wow, that's cool.
I got in more trouble over Billy Joel. Do y'all remember his song "My Life"?
Yeah, she got in real trouble with
So, when I was a teenager, I was never, ever, ever did I dare to. Well, I mean, I talked back to my parents a little bit, but with my parents, I didn't want to pick my butt up off the floor anywhere.
Kaboom, yeah,
So,
yeah.
So I was very careful when I tried to mouth back.
There's the hippie chick. Wave high. There you go.
What I would do instead was I would go to my bedroom and I would shut the door, and then I would play every rebellious song you could think of, and I would just turn it as far up as I could get away with. So I ended up playing My Life, and next thing I know, the door's off the hinges. My dad's coming in, and he's a holler and turn it off. So, so I ended up losing a cassette tape that night, and but I didn't stop listening to it. I just didn't let him know I was listening.
So my dad was really super supportive of everything I listened to, good, bad, and different. And he was a classical musician. He minored in organ in college, and so he would listen to all this stuff. We'd go along, we'd drive to Wisconsin, and we'd play albums. You'd listen to whole albums at the time. And my coolest thing he ever did, the guys that I was in the first band with, he was picking us up from school. We were like 14 or 15. And Iron Maiden, The Trooper, was on the local radio station. ZZO, if Rick the Stick is listening, he knows. So we're listening to ZZO, and this, The Trooper comes on, and my dad goes, David? And they all looked, and he goes, do you mind if I turn this up?
Wow.
And they were
wow.
like, your dad is so cool. yeah, he is. So, and my whole, so as all this stuff was going along, my dad started investing in recording equipment because he was a college professor, and of course he taught a class that no one else taught. So once you learned what you're teaching, you can do this on autopilot. You just go grab the book and say, this is week 2, and okay, kids, and you do your speech, and it's like everything else. So he had all these hobbies. So he was a full-time photographer, full-time recording studio, and he did all this crazy cool stuff, like with multimedia stuff. And before there was like PowerPoint, he would put 3 projectors together and have a music bed, and I would record stuff for it and sing stuff for it. And then there was an automatic beep on the remote control that told the slides when to change. And all his pictures were panoramic, and they were all lined up together. So he'd go at the ocean, and then he'd line them all up. And he was doing these PowerPoint presentations in the 70s before Microsoft was even around.
Wow.
And he'd do these Christmas shows. They had these huge, this huge wall that, they would do these things at. People would come for Christmas time and do all that stuff. And so we had a recording studio in my basement. So then all the cool kids wanted to come over and be like, hey, can I record? Can we work on a song?
Oh, yeah. I would have been at your house.
Yeah. And we had all the parties were at my house because it was soundproofed. So we could party. We used to have a Monday night, what the flock party we had.
Yeah.
That's what we called it. Because if you remember a risky business, sometimes you got to say what the flock.
Yeah.
So we did that every Monday night, and it was basically an open mic, and people would come, and I had a drum set up down there, and we record tracks. And
No, we'd definitely been friends in high school.
Yeah, that was my high school jam.
Oh my gosh.
That's actually how I got into DJing. Was a kid I went to high school with. We became friends and then found out that his dad was an electrical engineer, and so he had all this DJ equipment. His dad built him custom speakers and equipment and all that, and he's like, you should come over and check this out. And I started out with him, helping carry the equipment and all the cases or the big old milk carton crates of our records. And then before too long, I got into doing it myself. We did it together. And then after I got out of the military, he had moved on, and I got back into doing some here and there, but it wasn't until Tiki Man, I ran into him, and the rest is history.
Well, Dave, we have a couple questions
I'm
for
ready.
you. And I remember you at the high school dances being the DJ, too. Yeah.
There you go.
We went, I don't know if you know, Dave, but we went to high school together.
Wow, okay.
And so we didn't date because I wasn't a cheerleader.
Yeah.
He was a football player. But after he grew up a little bit,
It's a good thing she's over it.
Yeah, she's over it. Thank goodness.
No bitterness at all. So, Dave, we got some questions
I'm
for
ready.
you. All right. So, let me see. I got to back up. Everybody's chatting.
I like it.
I know.
We
me
love when
too.
people chat.
Me too. All right. So, Patty with an I said her son just opened a restaurant in Bethlehem.
Okay.
Called Steak and Steel Hibachi. So just so you know, Maria said that the next time y'all are up there, you're going to stop by there.
Which is going to be in about 4 weeks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then...
Cool. That sounds like it's on the south side. That's what I was going to ask him.
Oh, is it on the south side?
Yeah, that's what I think it is. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. Patty wants to know if you remember Kitty.
No.
Is that Kitty with an I or a Y?
With a Y.
Wow. No.
See, Dave's all worried about cursing, and you're over there being bad.
It's all right. It's all good. No, I mean, I've been playing gigs since I was 14. And the band that Val's a little younger than me. So she joined the band after I had done some stuff with them.
Okay.
And then we played together when we all went to the Poconos, and we were playing for the Honeymooners, which is the way you work 6 nights a week.
Right.
So did that stuff with Val too. And the band that we were in was the Starlights. They were around for like at least 10 or 15 years before Val or I were involved.
Oh,
and
wow.
I think, so a lot of those people, when I first started playing with them, I was just enamored, like, hey, how are you? And,
Yeah.
we played at the Hard Rock Cafe, the Trop Rock Junkies, 2 weeks ago. Some guy came up to me and said, hey, didn't you used to play with? I was like, there's no way you know that. That was 1985. And they were from Allentown. And that's how they
cool.
knew. And we're just sitting there,
Very cool. Well,
speaking of, I'm so sorry, honey,
No, go
but I
ahead.
have to ask him this question before I forget.
all right, go right ahead.
So speaking of Allentown,
Yes.
are you familiar with the Poverty Neck Hillbillies?
No.
Oh, I have to tell you all about them then.
The Poverty Neck Hillbillies?
Poverty Neck Hillbillies. They were a country group. Well, I guess it was probably, 10 years? No.
Early 2000s
15 years
now.
ago, yeah. Early 2000s now. But yeah, I will have to I'll have to talk to you about them. Dana Kay said cheers, by the way. Everybody heard you open your beer.
Yeah,
They're all
I was going to say, by the way, cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
You know it's going to be a good night when your husband tells you on the way to the radio show, honey, you might have to drive home.
Oh!
Yeah. So.
Well, that's because he thought Joe Downing was coming tonight.
Oh, no.
Me and Joe are buddies. It's all. Oh, by the way, I promised I was going to say this. Hey, Joe, if you're listening, because you might be. They pulled out the really good rum for me tonight. They went upstairs
Yeah,
to the
Danny
closet.
got it.
They got the private
Yeah,
stock.
so I didn't drink the well bar rum down here. I got the good stuff.
How nice.
Just saying, Joe.
Well, we're about 45 minutes in, and he hasn't sang a song yet.
You know, I was
know,
noticing
I'm
that.
so
So,
It's all
how
good.
about playing a couple songs for us?
All right, well, hold on a second. Now that my thing fell asleep, yeah.
We get to talking and we forget.
You know, it's so. I'm just so happy to see you guys. That's like we should have probably done like 2 hours of just pre-hanging and then.
Probably should have.
But it's all good. So I turned the
Hey,
page
Brian
to.
Burns.
Let me
Brian
shut
Burns?
that door.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys think that sounds good? That's a good
Yeah.
mix.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So I turned the page and I opened up to Bluebird last song. So might as well start from there, right?
All right. There you go.
Perfect.
And I think I played this last time for you guys. Let me just tell you a quick story about this because this is the first song I wrote by myself in Florida. When I moved to Florida, I moved in with my aunt, who's literally a rocket scientist. She worked in Cocoa Beach and she graduated from Notre Dame. I'm sorry. She could have went to Ohio.
my
She-
gosh.
She went to Notre Dame. Apparently that's where the smart kids go. I don't
guess.
know. So she got recruited there to go work at NASA. So she went to Cocoa Beach. She's never left. So she's been there. She's retired and she's there. And she never told me about what you need to know from Florida because I grew up in the woods of Pennsylvania. We see deer, we see little animals,
Right.
we see snakes. That's
Right.
okay. You know, you're not worried about them.
Right.
We're all friends, and we get close. We get too close, we worry about it.
Right.
Well, I'm always a kayaker, canoeer my whole life. I used to go up and down the Delaware River and do all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to go do something, and she's like, well, don't go in the ocean. There are sharks there. There are all these bites. These people are all getting their legs cut out. Like, this is the aunt telling me, like, the mama, right? So I said, okay, well, is it okay if I go take a canoe out or a kayak? And she's like, yeah. So I go to the other, there's like a channel right there in Cocoa Beach. There's a river. Mm-hmm. And I asked for a canoe. He says, I don't have any canoes, but I have a kayak. I said, okay. So I go up by myself. Jump, jump, jump. Going down the river. Everything's cool. All of a sudden I hear a plunk, another plunk, another plunk. I look around, I don't see anything, and I'm like, that's odd. So I turn around, I said, maybe I should go back. Go back, tell the guy where I went. He goes, wait, you went south? You're supposed to go north. And I was like, oh, well, what's wrong with going south? He goes, oh, well, there's alligators down there. I was like, oops. So I went back and I said to my aunt, so did you ever think to tell me that the river was full of alligators? And she's like, well, you should know that. And I was like, well, no, I didn't know that. So when I moved to the other side, to the Gulf Coast, where Newport Richey, where we live now, I went to the park. First verse, I tripped over a turtle because I was sitting there with my phone and I didn't see the thing, and I literally tripped into the air.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, what? Oh my God. Like, it wasn't this big, it was like this big, right?
Oh, wow.
So I had to write a song about it.
Oh, how cool.
I can't believe I'm vacay. It's days away, too much work ahead, not enough play. So many hours before the end of the week. Well, my confidence is lost, my status is bleak. I gotta be a bright spot, I need a little spark. So I took a little detour to Key Vista Park. A Gulf Coast sunset is within my reach, and I hurried down the path to get to the beach. So much on my mind that I didn't see the 40-pound turtle right in front of me. Not cool to collide, I need to be pausing. I'll stop, there's a reptile crossing. I made it to the weekend, my sanity's at stake. I hitched the trailer to the truck, I drove to the lake. Backing down the boat ramp, I heard a faint hiss. So I jumped out of the truck to see what was amiss. Not a flat tire, I can plainly see, but a water moccasin staring back at me. Not cool to collide, I need to be pausing. I'll stop, there's a reptile crossing. Reptiles have the right of way 24/7, every single day. The size and shape don't matter, they're always a ball. So just take a chill pill until it's your time to cross. it's a Sunday fun day. It's a music day. The drinks are flowing freely. Band begins to play. One dancer's feeling frisky and she says to her pal, I got $50, says you won't jump into the canal. Well, her eyes are not focused where they ought to be. Can alligators, they don't care about the money. Now cool to collide, I need to be pausing. I'll stop, there's a reptile crossing. Reptiles have the right of way 24/7 every single day. The size and shape don't matter, cause you know it's the boss. Take a chill pill when it's your time to cross. I said the reptiles have the right of way 24/7 every single day. Now cool to collide, I need to be pausing. I'll stop, there's a reptile crossing. I cool to collide, I need to be pausing. I'll stop, there's a reptile crossing.
I love it.
That's a true story. All true.
That is hysterical. Everybody is loving that song.
Not every song is a true story. That song is a true story. Thank you.
It just proves you can find motivation just about anywhere, and sometimes you just trip over it.
Oh, for real. Yeah. And, you know, what do you tell somebody, like, you just how stupid you are, like, coming from, you know, like, I just tripped over a turtle, and they're like, yeah, we watched you. What the hell's wrong with you? You come outside to get away from the world, and you're like, you know.
I wish, you know, if for as clumsy as I am, I'm surprised. I just wish I could be able to write songs of all the stupid stuff I've done. I mean, come on. I'd be a millionaire by now.
Right?
Well, you know what it is that you don't write the stuff down, because that's the key, is that you have to keep a little note and go, this thing happened. And especially, like, you know, running around kids, they're always got good, funny stories.
Oh, yeah.
You telling me. Lately, they're not stories I want to tell.
Yeah. Actually, I have a story. I have a story like that to tell you real quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I tell you this because it's a cool story for me too, because my mentor in school was one of my coaches, and he ended up mentoring Dwayne Johnson in a very different way, which was kind of cool. And Dwayne gave him credit, which is why I think it's a pretty cool story to tell. When he moved to Bethlehem from Nashville, actually, he was like this big, tall kid and didn't fit in, and all the kids didn't, you know, were trying to mess with him and see what he would do. Mm-hmm. And he didn't want any part of it because he knew he could kick their butts. Right? So he started slipping into the faculty bathroom to go to the bathroom. And so this coach caught him and said, first of all, he thought he was a teacher. He said, hey, you can't dress like that, because he's wearing like a tank top or whatever. So, I'm a student. I'm not a teacher. He goes, well, what are you doing in here? And he said, well, I want to go to the bathroom. And they're all smoking cigarettes, and I don't want to get in trouble, get suspended. I'm already in trouble in his life, which is why they moved there, right?
Right.
So he was like, and I don't want to get in trouble. And he's like, so you're a student? And he's like, yeah. He said, okay, well, you're in detention now. You're going to be in my detention. Come tomorrow, whatever time it was. So in the detention, Coach Swick was his name. He told him, he said, you know, you're doing your school a disservice by not being on the football team. He said, I don't know how to play football. He said, well, we'll teach you. And that's when he learned.
Wow.
Yeah. And it all started because he was trying to get out of trouble, and he was going to the bathroom in the faculty bathroom, and his teacher said, like, let's turn this into a positive as opposed to let's just penalize the kid for the rest of his life.
How cool
Right.
is that?
Yeah. And the fact that Dwayne came out and actually told us in one of his stories, he did a documentary on, I think it was for Oprah or something, and I was like, you know what, this, because Coach Swick isn't with us anymore, and his family is,
Yeah.
he actually he passed early, and he had small children, and it's like, to me, that's what I want to know, is like the coolest guy on TV. My dad made that happen, so.
That is very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a cool legacy to leave.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. So.
This is the coach, by the way, that would headbutt everybody on the football team and didn't have a helmet on. He would walk up
Really?
and like, are you fired up? Because I'm fired up. And you're like, dude, I just put a hole in your head. Like, that's how fired up I am. Come on, you need to be like this. Okay, coach, I will. I promise. Yeah.
And you say he passed early?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
that's awful.
I keep trying to tell myself that every day, that when I want to rip my head out and you got a kid doing something stupid, that, you know, hopefully, you know, maybe someday I'll be the one to, you know,
I had great
be
teachers.
a positive influence.
I would say all the kids you're around at the school,
Yeah.
you could have some songs.
Well, I've already
written.
had a couple of them come up and goes, you know what I want to do when I grow up? And I'm like, what do you want to do? And they're like, I want to be a cop. And I look at them like, you know, you can do anything in the world that you can do, you won't want to do. You can do anything you want to do. I would suggest not do that. And they just kind of look at me awful confused.
So this story wasn't a segue, but now I realized it is. I have to remember this now. The first song that I ever wrote was for my 6th grade talent show. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And I came out in the 6th grade talent show, and the first line of the song, there was a man who was partly bald. And it was my 6th grade teacher. He was called, and I wrote a whole song. The first line was partly bald, and he's still with us, and he might actually be listening. And he joked to people after that the best thing he ever did was not suspend me for doing it, because he's like, if we would have discouraged him, then he would have never written it again.
Right. You could have changed somebody's life there.
See, I shut the crowd up so he could finish.
I know. I can't believe you remember it.
It's really hard to think. Everybody else is getting up doing like, oh, hey, Marie. And I'm like, there was a man who was partly bald. And Mr. I won't say it because
Just in case you're listening.
he was called. Yeah. Oh, he tells people the story all the time. It's hysterical. Like,
That is so funny.
He's a Facebook friend, because it turns out he was prematurely balding because he was like 25 when he was our teacher.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
You have the best memory of anybody I've ever seen.
I don't know. It's all good stuff. I had great teachers. I'm friends with a bunch of my teachers on Facebook now, and it's cool because I have great memory. I don't really ever remember having a bad teacher. They were
really,
and I was a pain in the ass. So like, I mean, and the other story is I had a friend. And they would all get together in the summer and go, okay, those two are not in the same class. I'll take that one. You take this one. You know?
Oh, you're just one of those kids.
Oh yeah, the two of us together it was like, you know, sort of like being in a band now, you know?
Right?
Nice.
Yeah, now we call those entertainment partners, but school they called it way too loud for our dealing. Yeah.
Well, do you have something else you want to play for
Sure.
us?
I'm trying to remember what I didn't play last time. So, I don't know.
Well, I don't think you got to play a whole lot last time, and
No, I think you've only played a couple songs.
Okay.
So,
we
yeah.
enjoyed everything you did. So we'll listen again.
Let's do a Florida song, another one. We'll stay Florida first time. So this is, I wrote this song last spring, and it was something. I'm a member of the National Songwriting Association has different chapters, and so I'm a member of the Cocoa Beach one because I went there when I first came down, and I go and play a songwriters round every month over in Cocoa Beach and actually Jody Bly and I played last time together. So
okay,
we're gonna be doing that again in a couple days. So I wrote this song for they have a chapter challenge, and they pick the song from each chapter, and it goes to Nashville, and then you get to play it. So, and this was the Cocoa Beach winner. So, and the only reason it won was because I wrote it about Cocoa Beach. Like, that's how
there you go.
So this is my experience of being on the other side of Florida, which is not the side I live on now. Chugging black coffee, industrial strength, pounding the highway for hours at length, through state after state, tailgating brake lights, dodging orange cones down I-95, crawling through work zones, a horrendous drive, ends at the Florida border tonight. Stress disappears before the new day dawns. The sun reappears in a sky of bronze, luring us away from the concrete grind. Because the toll roads traveled are already jammed, the road less traveled, our lazy plan. Time to leave divided highways behind. Sunrise will head south towards the Keys. By sunset we'll be wherever we please. It might take a day, it might take a week. Highway A1A, it's a scenic destination, a A1 vacation. Settling into the leisurely pace, the beach towns abound with oceanside cafes, so much alongside this coastal highway. Close enough to hear the sound of the surf, or to see spaceships leaving planet Earth. Miami is 100 miles away. At sunrise we'll head south towards the Keys. By sunset we'll be wherever we please. It might take a day, it might take a week. Highway A1A is a scenic destination. A1 vacation. We eat and we shop and we play along this scenic byway. Swim, surf and fish, do beach whenever you wish. Top down, enjoy the breeze. ETA is TBD. Scenic destination, A1 vacation. Scenic destination, our A1 vacation. Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful.
I know. You know, I was listening to that at the beginning. I'm like, that almost sounds like I could be like one of those late 80s, early 90s sitcom theme songs. Just
like
the way.
Christopher Cross is what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of where I was going with it. And then, you know, my favorite line is that I stole from our good friend, the MFG Records, Beth Travers, is you can do whatever you want, like we do beach. Like that whole, like,
Right.
And it was like, but yeah, so every time I go to the songwriting round, I would sit there at A1A and I'm just thinking to myself, how cool is this road? There's no road like this anywhere. There's no road like this in Pennsylvania or any, like, where you you're on the highway. Hey, there's a spaceship taking off. Hey, there's a little shop. Hey, there's this guy doing this and that. And it's people. And when I first played it, you know, you play it for people to hear it.
Right.
And I played it for a bunch of people from up north. I'm Googling A1A. I don't know what that is. Well, that's your problem. You live in New Jersey. You need to know what A1A is. Your blood pressure would go down 50 points.
Right.
Well, I'm going to tell you, whenever, you know, when we first met, you know, Danny and Heather, we had no clue what Parrot Heads were, what trop rock was, or anything like that. You know, knew who Jimmy Buffett was. But didn't know anything about the genre of music. And, you know, I can tell you, since we've discovered the whole, you know, the genre and, you know, people like you, you know, our world has not been the same, and it's been a lot fuller.
I've been listening to trop rock for a long time, and I didn't maybe know it was trop rock, or like, you know, you gravitate to those songs. And then one of the kids that used to be in my basement in the recording studio is now in a band called Yacht Rock Review, which is like this. They tour all over the world. They are the greatest cover band ever, and they back up. Like John Oates wants to go on tour, they back him up and he plays. And but they know all the stuff. Wow. So it's a 6-piece band. They're based in Atlanta. And they do the whole yacht rock thing. And if you don't know what yacht rock is, in our little thing, everybody wears the little white captain's hats, and it's kind of like Mr. Stubing, Captain Stubing kind of thing. Yeah. Which would be cool, except that all these people are like college 22 to like 42. They're all kids. And you're like, and like their closing song, their rousing thing of the night is to play Africa by Toto.
Really?
And everybody's sitting there doing the, you know, and you're like, the first time you go to a show, you're like, there's no way this is really happening. Right. These kids are, somebody gave them, you know, mescaline or something. They don't know where they're at.
That means they were raised by good parents.
For real, yeah. And so they have an event in Atlanta every year at Chastain.
Okay.
They sell that out every year. Sometimes they do it 2 nights in a row. Like, it's crazy. And it's, you know, we went a couple times and you're just like, this is amazing. And so that was sort of the thing to me. Like, I was all into that music. And then I started hearing some of the crossover people, and I heard Don Middlebrook, and I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's exactly, you know, when we was deciding, you know, after I'd been with the Sunday show for a couple years, you know, Tiki Man kept looking, so when are you going to do your own show? Yeah. And it was like, you know, I don't know what to do, you know, and Laura and I, we had always had the, you know, the country music connection because, you know, she managed, you know, an independent artist, and I had been around country music, worked security for several, you know, well-known artists and things like that. So, you know, that was our connection. But the more that we listened to, you know, trop rock, coastal, you know, we quickly picked up that there's a very close blend of country music and influence in all that.
Yeah,
Right.
there's definitely not a
And-
stretch between country and coastal Americana.
And that's how
Yeah.
we figured out. It was like tropical country, trop country.
Yeah.
We can blend the two, and I think that's it's worked for us so far.
And so you guys are like, I mean, I don't know how you figure out this map, but you guys are like, say over here, and then on the other side of that is like trop music that is rock, right?
Right.
Like Joe Downing, for example, is Joe Downing, and then you listen to someone like Kirsty House, and she's like very country, and she has a very country background, and that's great, and all those tunes fit, and she's writing stuff that now fits the genre of things that people that like live in Florida or are chilling out. And then Joe's doing the same thing with the rock side of it. Jonas Lawrence is doing that same kind of thing.
Right.
And so you hear like all these different people. And, one of my favorite trop rock artists who nobody knows about is, her name is Marissa Lynn, but she's Mook Menzies' daughter, if you know who Mook is.
I do not.
Okay, so he's done a bunch of stuff that's played in trop rock.
Okay.
She's a Catalina Island girl in California. So she's got this whole little Cali feel, and you're like,
oh, wow.
That's a trop rock song too. But it's not that, and it's not that.
Right.
It's not that. And that's what, like, we all meet in the middle, and that's what makes it cool. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't fit in the box.
Yeah. So you can have Robin Tricker in New Jersey do a tune, and you can have Donnie Brewer in Texas do a tune, and you can have, Beth Travers in Florida do a tune, and they all still fit the same genre, and it's all cool.
Yeah.
And that to me is what it's about.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where, Tiki Man and Hippie Chick started talking about the coastal Americana.
Right.
Because it is such a blend of all different musical styles and genres, to get it, like you said, you can't put it in a box. You can't just say, okay, trop rock is this or coastal Americana is this, because it's so diverse. There's something in it for everybody, truly.
Right. Right. And like I said, when we looked at the country side of it, you're like, look what Kenny Chesney's doing, and Zach Brown started, dipping their, and then a lot more artists started dipping their toes over here in the coastal side.
Yep.
And, it's like, it fits. And I think it's been a good mix and a happy marriage of two different genres all in one.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story. When I used to play a lot of dead music. Well, I mean, I played gigs and shows and all that stuff, but then when you're on your own, like, okay, we have a Friday off, let's go play a bar.
Right.
I did a lot of Grateful Dead stuff. And so we had a couple different bands in the area that played tribute stuff, and we'd go sit in, and that was my jam. I dug all that stuff. So the last thing I played in Pennsylvania before I left to move elsewhere was when Jerry Garcia passed. We had a memorial service, and we played this music behind and all that. And I saw the guy it was all the musicians, and it was a big circle, and it was this big circle of love, and it was cool. And talking to his friend, and he goes, hey, I'm working on a new project. And I was kind of like you're working on a new project because you can't be a Grateful Dead band anymore because Jerry's dead? Is that what you just said to me? And he goes, no. That's not it at all. He goes, but I just figured it out. What's the music that the Dead music kind of, what fits it? Like, where could you go next and make it so that we could play full time? I was like, I have no idea. He said, we're going to follow Jimmy Buffett concerts, and we're going to play at them. And he started, and they took the tunes that they had written that were sort of Grateful Dead-ish, and they kind of made them a little troppy, and they started playing all these, shows.
Really?
And I was like, wow. I never saw that connection ever. To me, he was the margarita guy.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I listened to these albums I never heard before, and I was like, holy crap, this is like the same stuff. It could be if you did it that way. And that was that's when it became my thing. And then I was in a band with a drummer who loved Jimmy Buffett. He goes, he wrote like more than 3 songs, right? I was like, no, I really don't know that. And then
that was me, yeah.
And the Dead band started playing Volcano, and we did that. We did Ico, and we did all this stuff. And I was like, this is a Buffett song, right? And he's like, no, it's not. It's a Dead. No, it's a Buffett song. Like,
really, I mean, because when you look at it, Jimmy Buffett has that Nashville connection.
Yeah.
Has recorded with tons of country art, mainstream country artists, and everything. So I mean, it just transcends across to every genre, I think.
And when Nadira Shakur was auditioning to be in the band, they told her she was auditioning to be a backup singer for a jazz artist.
Really?
That was the definition. And she walked in, she's like, that's Jimmy Buffett. And then and she heard the stuff, and she was like, oh, I want to do this. This is really
Right.
cool. Like she didn't know, you know what I mean? But that's
Yeah.
how crazy it was.
Jazz is not anything
No,
that I would consider Jimmy Buffett to be.
But I guess it was some bad, connector at the time.
Yeah,
it was like,
yeah.
well, it's not this, and it's definitely
Gotta
not
find
Rush.
something
it's
to
not,
call it.
It's not Shania Twain.
Yeah.
It's like,
You know
Yeah.
you're pretty cool though when you can spark your own genre of music.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
just like that.
Well, Callie McCool said, it's the only music community I know that connects amazing artists with fans on such a close relationship.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Callie's got some pictures of him bumping elbows with Brent Burns and James White. Woo! How
Nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, you're right about that. And that's one of the things that we noticed when we first started hanging out with Tiki Man and Heather. We went to Panama City. This is before we were actually working with the radio station.
Right.
We just went to help out at the Parrot Head Rendezvous. And we were so amazed at the community that surrounds the Parrot Heads and that's where we got our first taste of it, I guess, and the way the
Yeah.
musicians interact. And
I'd never seen so many artists going, pulling, hey, pulling somebody out of the crowd, come up here and play with us, and sharing that spotlight was kind of new to us. That it was just different.
Yeah.
So I played I want to say 1 or 2 flockings for the Nature Coast Parrot Head Club. Mm-hmm. That's we were just got in the group. We had gone to Music on the Bay and had gone to other stuff and seen Don Middlebrook, and actually I have a really good Don Middlebrook story. But anyway, so maybe we played I maybe played 1 or 2 of their flockings. And then COVID hit. And out of nowhere, president of the club calls me and says, so we're writing you a check. What's your address? I was like, I'm sorry. He goes, all the musicians that are members of the club, our club, we're writing you all checks because we know you're not working and we know you probably need it. And I was like, who does that?
yeah.
I was like, so I first started live streaming because I was just so guilty that I wanted to do something to be I gotta give them some music because they just paid me, they tipped me, and I'm not playing piano, man. That ain't working. I gotta do something. So that's how I started live streaming, was because I was doing it for them, and the next thing I know, all these other people were listening to it, and then they were digging it, and that was the cool thing. And that's, they didn't have to do that. I didn't even know them well. Now they're all they're our best friends. Maria and me both. So. Coming to the rendezvous too, by the way.
Are you?
So we were gonna go, and then my good friend Jonas Lawrence called me and asked me if I would be the Florida 4th member of the Jonas Lawrence Band.
Oh, how cool is that?
Playing at the Parrot Head Rendezvous with him, and I'm going to be playing Music on the Bay with him, and I'm going to be playing the Sarasota Bay Parrot Head Club birthday with him in July.
Oh, how
Nice.
fun.
In May, so. Yeah.
Good. Well, we will see you at the rendezvous.
Absolutely.
The funny part about the rendezvous is Maria will be there for the whole weekend, but I have to leave because the Trop Rock Junkies are playing the Bradenton Marauders Margaritaville night that Saturday, and we're singing the national anthem again like we did last year. So I have to. We're playing. Jonas is playing on Thursday. I'm going to stay Friday, and then I'm driving back to be there to do that Saturday. So.
Oh, okay.
So
Very
y'all
cool.
take good care of Maria because she'll be on her own.
Oh, yeah,
flying
Maria,
with-
come hang out with us. We'll take care of you.
All right. Hey, we're going to take a little break because we got some bills to pay.
Do it.
You were talking about, real quick, that, Kirsty Crouch, you've been doing some writing and hanging out with her.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that when we come back. But how about we'll just take a break and, with her real quick, and then we'll be back after the JBL Legends Travel Minute.
Yeah.
I never thought I could be affected by your criticism, poisoned by your cynicism, lies in the shadow side of me, but living in a shadow of clouds. But this is my philosophy now. Hey, hey, I grit my teeth and barely forget it. You ain't even strong enough to steal my pride. Shade don't come married, sharing with somebody else who wants to waste their time. I'm gonna raise my cheeks and smile for you. And just on the record, I ain't cursing now. You ain't worth it now. You don't deserve my love. My every breath is my currency. Spend it on the positive, loving how I'm dropping it. I let her fly, spread her wings. Only in my head of my dreams. between the pointer and ring. Hey, hey, I grit my teeth and baby, forget it. You ain't even strong enough to steal my pride. Shake, don't let it share it with somebody else who wants to waste their time. I'm gonna raise my cheeks and smile for you. You just run the record. I ain't cursing now. You ain't worth it now. You don't deserve mine. I ain't cursing now. You ain't worth it now. You don't deserve mine. Every breath is my currency. Spend it on the positive, loving how I'm dropping it. I ain't cursing now. You ain't worth it now. You don't deserve mine. I ain't cursing now. You ain't worth it now. You don't deserve mine. You don't deserve you don't deserve
Hey, y'all, this is B-Dawg
And Lou.
from Tropical Country right here on Tiki Man Radio. Next time you take a trip down to Key West and you want to get out on the water, we want you to check out our sponsor, Goaltending Services. Goaltending Services is the premier charter service in Key West. They offer a wide range of amenities. Goaltending Services is also a veteran-owned company, and they take care of their veterans and active duty personnel by offering a 25% discount with your veteran or military ID. For more about Goaltending Services, give them a call at 305-916-0990.
Or look them up online at goaltendingservices.com.
Off the coast on a boat, drop a rock on the radio.
And now, Tiki Man Radio is proud to present the JBL Legends Travel Moment with Joe Leo. Take it away, Joe.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's Travel Minute from the JBL Legends Travel Group. And this week, I want to welcome you to the islands of the Bahamas. You know, we talked about all those cold destinations the last couple of weeks, Alaska and Iceland. So I thought I'd bring some warm weather in here because I don't know about you, but I'm done with this winter. So I want to talk a little bit about the Bahamas. The Bahamas is actually comprised of 16 major islands spread over, believe it or not, 100,000 miles of the world's clearest oceans. Now, when you think about the Bahamas, most people think about Nassau and Paradise Island because that was the original Caribbean destination, and it's visited by hundreds of cruise ships every month. Nassau and Paradise Island actually consist of two islands, New Providence Island, which is the mainland, and then as you go over the bridge, you enter into what they call Paradise Island, which was once home to Merv Griffin's resort and now known as the Atlantis Hotel and Casino. Nassau and Paradise Island are both a very big hot spot with a ton of world-class resorts, beaches, dining, and nightlife. And it's the host to the Junkanoo Festival, which is held every year in July, every Saturday during the month at 12 noon. And it's to celebrate the Bahamian culture. And Nassau is also very well known for what they call their fish fry, or as we would call it here, a seafood festival. And that happens on a regular basis all throughout Nassau and on most of the other outlying islands. Some of the other great islands that people like to visit are Exuma, which is home to the swimming pigs, and also Freeport on Grand Bahama Island, which is home to the famous Tony Hanna's, or as they call him over there, Tony Macaroni, the king of conch. And he's had his conch shack overlooking Tano Beach there since 1992. There's a lot to do there. I mean, there's water sports, there's tons of beaches, there's casinos, tons of nightlife. I could stay here and talk to you about all the different islands and it would probably take a good hour, and Danny would probably kill me. But if you want to know more about all the different islands and what's there to see and do in these islands, go to our website, jbltravelgroup.net. Under the travel destinations tab, you'll find the Bahamas. We have a complete thing there with descriptions of the different islands, what to see, what to do, and some videos all about the island. But one quick story before I say goodbye. So I was visiting Grand Bahama Island, and I heard about this place called Pier 1 Restaurant. I was told by one of the locals that it was the freshest seafood that I would find anywhere in the Bahamas. He said, but go around sunset because it's absolutely breathtaking, and wait until you see the sharks. Oh, sharks. So I went to the restaurant, and as the story goes, the restaurant was damaged very badly after one of the hurricanes, and the owners decided that they were going to rebuild the restaurant, and they did, and they kept as much of the old building as they possibly could. The problem was that they were gone for a year and a half, and now the traffic to the restaurant wasn't where they wanted it to be, and they were losing money. And what was happening is every night they were taking the food that was left over and dumping it into the water. So what happened was one night he goes out onto the dock to dump the food, and he looks down, there's like a dozen sharks there waiting for the food. So he changed all his marketing around to say Pier 1 Restaurant, the shark feeding restaurant. Come experience feedings every night, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock p.m. So while you're having dinner, they ring this big dinner bell. Everybody runs out onto the dock, and they watch him dump food in there and feed the sharks. It's quite an amazing sight to see. So needless to say, the place is packed every single night.
Songwriters that we know, right?
That's right. And we have one of the best in the studio with us tonight.
That's right. Dave Freeman's in the studio with us if you haven't been paying attention.
Hey, everybody.
Now, we was having
Wednesday.
a great conversation off
fun.
the air and everything. First of all, Joe, I apologize for cutting you off there. I got
Sorry, Joe.
I got a twitch in my trigger finger, and I hit a button too little premature. So, I'm not going to talk about prematurity.
Joe's from
on this
Jersey,
show.
right? Joe's from Jersey, right?
Joe's
Yes.
from Jersey.
Don't do that again.
Right.
Trying to help you out, man.
I'm hoping he just don't worry about it.
Yeah. They say that the first time.
Yeah.
The first time.
Don't do it again. Those Jersey boys up there.
Yeah.
We love Joe, and of course Buddha.
Buddha.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
We're on here. Laura Erickson Bly is out there and says hello.
Hello.
Yeah. And sorry, I'm laughing. Yeah, Rick. So JBL Legends Travel, the second annual Escape to Paradise
yeah,
down in Mexico.
yeah,
Lots of people chiming in saying that they are going.
yeah.
Oh, here we go.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not.
Oh,
I was just trying to give you back. I was giving you background music to your little bed.
Oh, so you start playing. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I was just gonna play tequila, but we're not drinking tequila tonight.
No, you said we couldn't tonight.
This time, yeah. This time.
That'd be Chef Marcus's favorite song. Tequila.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tequila.
We did you've heard our famous karaoke stories
Oh,
here. So one time we got Chef Marcus to drink enough that he finally agreed to
Nice.
get up and do karaoke. And that's the only word he said. The whole time. Tequila. And then we all took over. Tequila.
Nice.
That was it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there's been
Oh, no, he also did Love Shack, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Love Shack.
Love Shack was
Love
his
Shack.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
that's all he did. Love Shack.
Yeah.
So I don't do karaoke often. When I am, I'm pretty much under the influence.
There you
so.
go. Well, that's the whole point of what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, surprisingly, do you remember the first song I sang when I did karaoke here in Chocolate Bar?
Oh, Lord. No.
You don't
I remember you were wearing the black cowboy hat.
No,
You
I
looked
wasn't
like
wearing a
Hank
cowboy
Jr.
hat at that point.
Ooh.
He looked just like Hank Jr. at one point.
I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
But honestly, the very first song I did karaoke to here in the Chocolate Bar is I sang Piano Man.
Wow.
It was.
It was, yeah. See, I'm not lying when I say I was a
forgot.
Billy Joel fan.
Nope. No.
Yeah.
I was a little bit of a Billy Joel fan, but
Yeah.
I mean, I grew into it, and it's so funny because people think that. I'm like, actually, I listened to a lot of Elton John growing up. I loved what he.
I can see that. I can see that.
And the Crocodile Rock thing notwithstanding, right?
Right.
Like,
Yes.
that thing, but I gravitated toward all these keyboard things, and then. But I was also a singer, so a lot of times I was in rock bands where it's like I just got to play a little part, and I have to sing a lot of parts. And so, I tried to play bass, that didn't work. So.
Oh, really?
Parents took the drum set away after the first week. and now I play dueling pianos, and I get paid to play drums every weekend, and I can't believe anybody thinks it's good. So it's like,
And as I got older, I got hooked on the as far as when it comes to keys or the synthesizers back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I was hooked on my favorite song. I thought it was, if I was ever going to be a professional wrestler, it was going to be my intro theme, and that was the intro to Final Countdown. Europe. I love that.
Can you just see little B-Dawg up there playing professional wrestler?
oh yeah, I can.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Jumping off the bed.
My bed was the squared circle, baby.
See now, we played the Monkees. Like,
Oh, yeah?
we used to,
I love
we didn't
them.
play wrestling. Like, we did songs. Like, we would,
okay.
like, I would hit a box or whatever, and
I watched the TV show if that counts.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
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 So that's my favorite music trivia, by the way. Give it away now.
What?
I've given you the answer, but so I'll have to tell. I won't tell you the trivia, but you can remember this.
Okay.
Neil Diamond's first #1 song was "I'm a Believer," that he wrote because he was a staff writer for Screen Gems, and that's when they said, "Hey, maybe you should be your own artist." But if you ever get that, "Hey, what's Neil Diamond's first #1 hit?" "Sweet Caroline," this and that. It's like, like that was his first
Yeah.
time. He wrote that for the Monkees.
Oh, wow.
I did not know that.
Yeah. All those songs were they called them this, the Wrecking Crew was all these studio musicians. They brought in all these staff writers like Carole King and Neil Diamond, and they wrote all these tunes for Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart were the other two guys, or the other way around. Bobby Boyce and Tommy Hart, I think it is. So anyway, and then, they all played, and that's how that show started. It was all connected people like that did that music. Same with the Partridge Family. That was all, the Wrecking Crew playing all those tunes. So.
We
The
learned
things
something
you
new.
didn't know.
Worthless trivial knowledge.
I love it.
Now, here's the other line that you probably don't know.
Okay.
Talk about Monkees trivia real quick. Do you know how Peter Tork got his job?
It was not because of his good looks.
He was a fill-in.
You're wrong. You're dead wrong.
Was he a replacement?
No.
He was a replacement, wasn't he? No.
So,
Okay.
the person that originally got the gig, they actually, you're right. They got the gig. They did a screen, and they said, "Listen, you're playing great. Everything's great. Do you have a friend who's better looking than you?"
And they picked Peter Tork?
Yes, over Steven Stills.
Stop it.
He said, "Do you have a friend that can play as well as you that's a little better on the eyes?" And he said, "My friend Peter Tork in the Village," and they flew him out. You got the gig.
Oh,
Steven Stills.
Lord.
Wow.
Steven Stills was the original guy in that position, and they thought he was too ugly to be on TV.
And they picked Peter Tork.
Well, because
really?
that was Steven Stills' recommendation. Yeah.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I would never have guessed that man got his job because of his looks.
Yeah, I'd heard something about that he wasn't the original, that he replaced somebody else, and that was why I kept saying he was a replacement. So, it's amazing how that happens.
Yeah.
Just like when we talked about you and I talked about classic rock. Journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Perry was not the original singer of Journey.
Well, no, they were. They told him if they don't get a lead singer, you're going to get cut from the label. And they had Steve Perry had been in this band. They had demos of him, and they said, "Did you guys find a singer yet?" And they're like, "No." "Okay, we're picking one for you." That's why they never got along, was because they never had a vote.
Right.
You guys have 6 months to find a singer, and they're all like, "Yeah, whatever." They don't mean it. Did you find a singer? No. Here he is. Congratulations.
Well,
Wait a minute. Well, you had 6 months.
I heard they were working with somebody, but whenever they would somehow distract the guy they were trying to work with, and then they just kind of force Steven in on them, and then lo and behold, he's your new lead singer, like it or not.
Yeah. And how about Jonathan Cain played with the Babies? And gave them open arms, and they said, "This is the worst song we ever heard. We'll never do this."
No.
And then he played it for Steve Perry, and he goes like, "Can you raise it a few keys?" And then they did it, and it was like, "What?"
That
What
is
do we-
my favorite Journey song.
Jonathan
yeah.
Cain, you want to talk about songwriters? Jonathan Cain pitched that song to a whole bunch of people who told him this is not worth it.
Wow.
And him and Steve Perry were writing. He goes, I got this little thing that nobody likes. He's like, hey, can you put it up a few keys? Now play it. And then that was it.
Wow.
Wow.
So you never know.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I have it is now a request from me.
Okay.
But Maria says,
We're going to do it, whatever it is.
right? The first time Dave and I met, he was singing Come Sail Away.
True story.
Love at First Sight and Sound. I
True
love
story.
that song.
So do I have to tell you the story now?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, because the story is even cooler
She
than
said
that.
it was Love at First Sight.
Yeah. So, hope I get this right, because if I don't,
You're in trouble.
door locks change when I get home. It was Friday the 13th, and I was telling you about how all my friends and I played in these Pocono, bands where it's like, okay, we play 4 slow songs, you'll go away because you did not come to hear the band. You came to do something else in the
Yeah.
heart-shaped tub room. So our job was like to not make, you didn't want to stay to hear us. And also brings up one of the greatest lines in music history. I can clear this room in 3 notes, like in that, like, okay, they're all leaving. Anyway, so a bunch of us that did that, we wanted to put a band together and just play stuff that we liked. So I have my best friend to this day, Rob Bob, on drums. A good friend of mine was a singer. We had a guitar player. I played bass left-handed, played keyboards, and we learned all the songs that we wanted to play. And so it was all these, Cool Cream songs and all this other stuff, and sticks, because my friend Norm, between me and him, we could sing all the parts. So the first day we're going to play was Friday the 13th, and I forgot my friend Snotty Scotty. Sorry, it's his birthday, and he's a he is a retired Marine.
No
That's
such thing as
right.
former.
Correct. And if I miss that, he's probably listening. I'll get something in the mail that I won't like. Anyway,
Semper Fi, brother.
yeah, and he just celebrated his birthday last week. So
Oh, very
Anyway,
nice.
So we put this band together, and we didn't have a name. So it was Come Name the Band night at the bar, at our local bar we hung out in. Meanwhile, while that story's going on, the guy who's the bartender on the weekends was another good friend of mine. He is friends with Maria, who is working 2 jobs. She's working full-time in New York City, getting off a bus, going to work for a hotel, like doing, house cleaning, all this other stuff. And they knew each other from this resort. And she's like, well, I'm off this weekend. He goes, why don't you come to the bar on Friday? She's like, I don't want to hang out at the bar. I don't know anybody. And he goes, no, trust me. This is a good time to come. My friends are playing. It's a good time. If you don't like it, I'll get you a cab, whatever else. So she shows up for the Name the Band contest.
Nice.
And that's how we met. And so we played Come Sail Away. It was like her favorite song. And the next day she left a card for me on my keyboard, because we left our stuff there because we were too drunk to go home. So we went to pick our stuff up the next day, and it was this, hey, you probably don't remember me. I'm the girl from last night. If you want to call me, here's my number. And here we are.
Wow. She's a special lady because, most groupies fall for either the lead singer or the lead guitarist, and she fell for the keyboard player.
Yeah.
She's got class.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. She does. But yeah, so that's how we met.
Oh,
Yeah.
very nice. Well, it's a request now.
For real?
For
Am I allowed to do
reals.
that? I haven't
of
played
course
that.
you're
Oh my
allowed.
God. I haven't played this song in, I don't even know the last time I played it.
Well, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Well, you did. It's okay. It's not like well, and I'll tell you a real quick story while I'm finding the piano sound, because I have to see if I can do this, because the keyboard doesn't split properly. So
Oh,
here,
okay.
that's all right.
Well, if you can't do it, it's okay.
Oh no, it's not it's. Yeah. Okay. I'm good. So this. Oh, the story is that I used to play this song all the time when I was growing up. Like, it's this thing. Like, I would go to a music store and I would just start playing it, and I never. Oh, that's the wrong button. I would never, like, sing it. I always played it in bands with girl singers and other stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then I think it was like that gig. That might have been the first time I ever sang it. It was like, well, how are we going to do it? And I think Norm was going to do it, and he couldn't sing it. And I said, oh, I got it. I've done this a million times in my house, and I never had ever done it before. So, yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
But I played it a million times, so here we go. I'm sailing away, set an open course for the Virgin Sea, 'cause I've got to be face the life that's ahead of me. I'm bored, I'm a captain, so climb aboard. We'll search for tomorrow on every shore, and I'll try, oh Lord, I'll try to carry on. I either to the sea, reflections in the waves spark my memory. Some happy, some sad. I think of childhood friends and the dreams we had. Lived happily forever, so the story goes. But somehow we missed out on the pot of gold. But we'll try best that we can. Carry on. Gathering of angels hid above my head, sang to me this song of hope. This is what they said. They said, come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. Yeah. Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. Yeah. Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. I don't have all the seagulls and all the other stuff, so I. Thought they were angels, but to my surprise, we climbed aboard their starship and headed for the sky, singing, come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. Yeah. Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. And now since Dennis is in your Broadway, you have to have a big Broadway ending. Come sail away with me.
That deserves the long applause right there.
I
That
can't
is
even tell
awesome.
you the last time I've done that. Like it could be a year. Like I don't even. Wow. It was definitely the last thing I thought I was going to play. I can say that.
Well, I
Hope y'all
love when we
didn't
put you on
mind.
the spot.
Yeah, that was it right there.
Hope y'all didn't mind we stepped away from country for just a minute, but we couldn't let him get away with that.
Heck no.
Yeah, that's funny. I was definitely not awake for that.
Well, Miss
The one
Maria said that she didn't expect you to play it, but oh,
See, she didn't expect it. Yeah, like,
Brought back memories right there.
I didn't expect to get in the door tomorrow either. So. That's not true. That's not true.
Well, we're talking about get back to country a little bit. You've been in Nashville.
Yes.
So tell us about what's going on up there.
So I've been going up a couple days every month to write, and I've been writing with different people. And one of the people that I'm writing with is someone that you all know very well, Miss Kirsty Krause.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have a couple things in the works, and that was not what I did this week because we had to balance out the world. So I went to Nashville and she went to Florida.
I
so
gotcha.
everything was fine. So she's been in Florida all week, and we passed. Well, I guess we'll wave on the way somehow. But so I actually wrote with another female artist, and I can't tell you her name yet. But hopefully, because we're still pitching songs to her, she's working on an album, and hopefully that works out well. But I wrote with her people 3 songs this week, and they were. I actually one of them I'm probably going to record too because it's pretty badass fun. Turned out to be a pretty good trop rock song as it was going, and I was like, so you don't mind if I like demo this on my own? And they're like, no, it's okay. You know. So,
oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So I worked on that this week. I'm coming back up in February, and I'm going to be playing at the Commodore, doing a round with Leon Venerable, who's a Alabama singer-songwriter, and somebody that I played with Ray. Last time I was up, Ray Boone and I and Leon Venerable played a round together at the Commodore, and so Ray is now in Florida full-time, so Leon and I are going to do one. And you never know. We might get a special guest appearance from Miss KK herself. We'll see. I have to ask her. She's in town that day. But been writing a lot of more country kind of stuff, not trop rock. Been doing... I mean, that's not what you asked me about this week, but you know, I'm in the Trop Rock Junkies, and I write a lot with Steve Tolliver, and so we have some things that we're doing that's going to be new and cool. I played on Jonas's new song, and you know that if you've heard that Roam Away From Home, and so that you know, so there's a couple different irons in the fire that way. Yeah. But as far as the writing goes, when I come up in February, I have to record another demo of some stuff that I did, and I have a couple really cool writes coming up with some other people and who are coming to Florida. And I'm also working with Jeff Randall, who you've probably heard some of his stuff. Oh,
absolutely.
And Jody Bly, if you know who Jody is.
Yeah, we met Jody in Key West, actually.
Yeah.
And Jody and I are doing some stuff together. We played together at the round I told you about in Cocoa Beach. And so we're going to write and go do that again next week.
Oh, very cool.
And you played somewhere pretty cool last night, I saw.
Monday night. I played at the Bluebird for my
the legendary Bluebird Cafe. How about that?
Yeah, so I got to play. That was a lot of fun. And it's funny, I wanted to tell you this before I forgot. It's not tourist season, right? So a lot of the people who try to get into the Bluebird to play the open mic are like, Mommy, look at me, I did this, right? And they're never coming back. Well, because it's not tourist season, the Monday night docket was pretty much people in town or people who have a reason to be around. And the one guy was on his way to the National Blues Competition in Memphis, and he was representing the state of Ohio. Really? I was going to do a blues song until I heard him, and I looked and I said, and he was right in the front row, and I said, Mr. Ohio, the blues are yours tonight. Like, I'm not even going off the page. I'll probably do the song tonight, but I was like, I'm not doing this there, because it's just like, that guy was, it's the cool, I mean, I've been listening to the blues my whole life. He's the best I ever heard.
Wow.
Really?
Ever. I'm sure he won the contest. I'm sure he's winning the contest right now as we speak, but yeah, he's pretty amazing.
Well, we'll have to pay attention, look out for that.
Yeah,
I can't say his last name, or I wrote it down, and I will post it when I'm going to follow him and see when he wins. And let you know. But yeah, he was, and there are a whole bunch of other really amazing artists, and yeah, and it was really cool stuff. And a couple people I write with that I didn't even realize were there, and that was kind of fun. So, you know, like you were listening, like, hey, I know that person. Yeah.
That is so cool.
To be able to hang out at the Bluebird and be like, I know that person.
Well,
I can't imagine.
You know, so the last time I was up in January, I was at a round, and I got done, and I sat down, and Kirsty walked up to me. She's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, what are you doing here? She's like, I come here all the time. And I was like, well, I just got done playing, you know, like, so, yeah. I mean, the more time you spend among the writers, because that's what, I was in a write last night where it was 30 people. It was a critique and pitch, where you're pitching songs to this record, to this publishing company. And I looked in the room and I said, you know, when I first started doing these a couple years ago, I was like the oldest guy in the room. I didn't know anybody. And now I knew probably half the people.
Oh, wow.
And you're like, hey, Dave, hey, this. And the woman that was doing the thing, she's like, hey, Dave, how are you? Yeah, I like this song, you know?
That's really cool. They say that's one of the reasons they say Nashville is the biggest, smallest town.
Yeah.
The biggest small town in America, because it is such a, even though it's a huge city, it's such a small, you know, you run into all your fellow artists and your fellow songwriters, and everybody runs in kind of the same circles.
So we're in this room last night that's probably twice the size of this room, and there were about 40 people in it. So we're all very tight, and everybody's kind of bumping into each other, and it's one of these like, hi, I'm Haley. Sorry, you know, like, you know, hey, could you get my backpack for me? I'm Joe, you know, like. So, and that's cool, you know, and what was really neat was there were people in the room, can't say, and I looked and I was like, I think that's who I think it is, and they were there because they wanted to hear the new songs because it was only new writers that could be in there.
Right.
So the publishing company is listening to the tunes, and these two artists came because they wanted to hear the tunes they didn't want. Like, hey, excuse me.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
yeah, and so that's always fun too. And
Nice.
I saw one of them at my later stop, and he said, "Hey, I really like that tune. You have more stuff like that?" And I was like, "I do. Here you go. Let me show it to you." So,
Very
that's,
nice.
but that's how it works.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it takes you have to go, you have to participate.
Absolutely.
You can't just mail it in, or you can't.
Yeah.
You know, it's like everybody else. I want to go do that. Okay, we'll go do it. You know, I'm
Yeah.
sure you could ask Kirsty that question. You know, she grew up in Wisconsin. It's great to be in Wisconsin and say you want to go to Nashville. It's another thing to be in Nashville in front of people going, "Can you deny me this right here?" No.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I think it was very important that, like I said, the show we did last week was like you hear all these songs on mainstream country radio.
Yeah.
But hey, I want to introduce you to the songwriters
Yeah.
behind those hits.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
without them, there is no country radio or anything. Just like you said, George
Yeah.
Strait's 60 number one hits. He didn't write a single one of them.
Yeah. Well, those days that have that kind of happening, it doesn't work like that anymore.
Right.
What happens now is you get artists that come in and they have their team, and they have people that write in their team, and maybe they need one person or this other person that doesn't do the thing they need. But
Right.
they're pretty much self-contained. And so that's the new era that I see, is that it's not like, well, Dave, you don't live up here, so you can't get into the rooms. It's like, well, no, I know the artists. Like, I've been
Right.
working with them, and
Right.
they're inviting me into the room. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you can come if they let you, but I'm hoping that, you get that opportunity, because there's a lot of I've had opportunities to meet a lot of these people, and they hear your stuff, and they like what you do, and you work together and co-write, and they want to do more, so that's part of it.
Well, how cool is that? Well, maybe someday that, you go over there to play Bluebird again. Let us know. Maybe we could sneak in.
Yeah.
Well, so I will tell you this. I have to be very careful about this.
All right.
Lou and I talked earlier.
Yep.
I do know that I will be playing the Bluebird again, and I promise when that date is official, I will let you know.
Nice.
So I do know that. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to get myself in trouble.
That's
Right.
actually one of the going to the Bluebird is one of actually on my
bucket list
bucket
thing.
list. That is
Yeah.
a bucket list thing for sure.
So the problem is getting in, because like
Exactly,
when
yeah.
Daryl Clanton played, I was like, "Hey, can you get me a ticket?" He's like, "Yeah, no, I can't." But I got one. I got in. I figured it out. Because that's the other thing is if it matters to you, you'll figure it out. So
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I will tell you a story that I think is important to tell for songwriters that might be listening.
Sure.
So I was living in the Poconos. I was writing and I was doing stuff, and I was bored to death of playing Unchained Melody every night,
Right.
doing those shows. And we had a local writer. I won't mention his name, but we had a local writer. He wrote a lot of big hits. And he would come home, "Hey, look who this is, the big Nashville star," thing. And he would run a charity. And so every year I was involved in the charity. And I don't remember the time. I have a pretty good idea when it was. I was so fed up with everything. And I just said, "Hey, man, I'm going to come to Nashville." And he's like, "What are you going to do there?" I said, "I'm going to be a songwriter." He goes, "No, you're not." I was like, "Why not?" He goes, "Because you suck." And I went, "Really?"
Really?
And he was like, "Yeah, you're not good enough to write in Nashville." And I went, "Okay." So I let it go.
Uh-huh.
And in my Pennsylvania, I'm not good enough. The guy told me I shouldn't go there. It's not like I saw the movie. I moped about it for a couple decades. And then in 2012, a friend of mine was doing a songwriting clinic for kids. And he said, "I'm bringing this famous songwriter. His name is Jim Femino. He's passed now. But he wrote the 2008 Song of the Year. And he had a lot of big cuts. And he was coming to Pennsylvania to do this thing for kids. Would I come and play for him so that the kids would bring their music and we would play the
Oh,
songs?"
how
Right.
cool.
And some of those kids were amazing. Some of them are in Nashville right now, actually, that were from Pennsylvania. And I was like, whoa, I didn't even know this is what this was. And I was like, so I know this is for kids, but can I start taking your classes? Can I start getting involved in this? And he got me involved. And same thing. He goes, well, don't take no for an answer. If somebody tells you no, that they just want to see how serious you are. Now, if I'd been like Kirsty Krause, I'd have showed up anyway, right? Well, remember me? You told me not to come. Here I am, right? But I wasn't that guy. So I moped about it for 15, 20 years. So I wrote a song that got put on the songwriters to watch list. And the day that list got posted, that songwriter I told you about called me on the phone. I didn't even know he had my number. And he said, "Okay, so now you're ready. Give me your information when you're in Nashville again. I want to introduce you to some people." 15 years later.
Oh,
Wow.
Because he said that to me as a test. Like, he wanted me to say to him 15 years ago, "You don't think I'm good enough? Well, flop you. I'm going anyway.
Yeah.
Don't need your damn help. Who the hell are you?
Right.
He
Well, I
wanted to know.
Okay, I guess I'm not gonna go. Like, so I
Right.
didn't go. So I did 15 years of dumb work that didn't need to be done. That anybody else could have done. And so then, and then I get it. And that's what it is like, you got to go. And if you're there, then you meet the people you need to meet. And if it's meant to be, it is. And if it's not, it's not. But you'll never know by,
Exactly.
I'm waiting for the phone call.
And
Nice.
that's a really good point, because a lot of people, we all dream of doing certain things, and there are two different personalities. There's either I'll show you,
Right.
or okay, they say I can't do it. And
Right.
so
That's me.
yeah, on some things,
On
not
some
everything.
things.
But I'm also a firm believer in timing, and so all those 15 years that you quote unquote wasted,
Yeah.
were not wasted at
No.
all, because you were honing your craft
Yeah.
and you were learning and growing, and now
Yeah.
that you're older and you're more mature and you have more skills and all those things, now you're at the point, because how many times have we seen it where folks who are younger, super talented, go after these things, they get it,
Right.
and then their world falls apart because they're not, for whatever reason, they're not mature enough, or
They're not ready
they're
for
not
the
ready-
success.
They're not as ready as they think they are.
Right.
And so you're at the point now where you're ready.
Yeah. Well, and it's unfortunate too, if you're younger, that there's this microscope of like, if you're going to make it, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And so I personally know a handful of people that have had that chance. And some of
Yeah.
them have done really well with it. And one in particular was on one of the big TV shows, and it didn't work. And you're done, because
Yeah.
now no one's like, oh, that's the guy that was. That's the dude that didn't. That's the
Yeah.
thing. And so now you're pigeonholed. 17, you made one mistake, and now that's all everybody remembers.
Right.
Yep.
And then on the other side of that are the people who just kind of chugged along. And the point I would be very remiss to not say is, I had a chance to go to Nashville in the 90s to work and do some keyboard stuff, and I didn't choose to do it. But I have a whole bunch of friends that did it. And so, like, when I first started coming in to do stuff, my peers are like, dude, you're seriously doing this? Like, why are you doing this? Like, you're starting at the bottom. I was like, well, I belong in the bottom because I haven't done it like you guys. And now I know these people, and they've been, the whole time that I was out frolicking, watching baseball, they were in Nashville working hard, doing their thing, and now they're in positions where they can do that kind of stuff. And so
Right.
I've gotten calls to do things where it's like, hey, I can't play keyboards today, but my friend's in town, he could come play this track. And it's like, there's no, if you said to somebody, hey, you want to play on somebody's record in Nashville, you'd be like, sure, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm already there. Like,
Right.
so that's how I got it. I didn't get it because I'm good. I didn't get it because I'm the best keyboard player. I got it because I happen to be in town. My buddy knows I'm not going to screw the job up so that he gets called back again the next time. That's how it works. Like, sometimes you have to sometimes have a couple decades of learning that.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
Well, we're getting close to the end of the night. Do you want to play another song for
I
us?
do.
All right.
I know you've got one that you want to play. Can
Yeah.
you play 2 songs?
I can. Well, what do you guys want to hear? You want to hear happy, sad?
Well, I want to hear the one that you're planning on playing.
Okay.
But Callie McCool said, did you ever meet the Utleys or the Utleys?
The Utley's like Mick, like Mr. Utley of Jimmy fame?
Maybe.
Okay.
Would love to hear your version of Hamburger Song.
I don't want to play that tonight. It ain't gonna be that good.
And he said, or Volcano.
Yeah, that's Mr. Utley. He does the
Okay.
he does the thing for and then he goes, Mr. Utley. That's
Okay,
yeah.
I got it
gotcha.
now. Gotcha.
I wasn't gonna do that though.
You don't have to.
You know what I want to do? I want to.
Definitely want to hear the one that you were planning to sing, though.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this one first. Shameless plug, right?
Okay.
So I already plugged Jonas, right? That was good.
Uh-huh.
So I'm also going to be traveling in the Joe Downing Band this summer.
Wow.
And we're playing at Music on the Bay. Mm-hmm. And then, by the way, check this out. Wednesday with the Trap Rock Junkies. Thursday at 6 with Joe Downing. Running from the one stage to the other stage to play with Jonas Lawrence. Then the best part of the day, Friday morning, playing with the one and only Tim Campbell.
Nice.
Oh, our buddy Tim.
Oh, we love Tim.
So, of course, maybe, I haven't sent him the check yet to play with him. So, but so I wrote this song with Joe. It didn't make his album. I understand why, because he writes with famous people, and I'm just this little guy. But I just like this song, and I actually said to him when I was talking to him, I was like, so you don't mind if I play this song, because I want other people to hear it, so that when you keep telling them that it's terrible, that they'll tell you, no, Joe, it's not terrible. So hold on 1 second. I just closed my book by accident, and that's always a good thing. So let's do this. So anyway, I will not sing it as loud as I sang Come Slow, by the way. It kind of fits where we are, where the weather is today anyway. Sand is shivering since you've been gone. Seagulls forgot how to sing their happy song. The rain keeps falling down on top of me. I'm just looking for you, walking down by the sea. Think about the good times we used to know, living the perfect low. Chilling here wondering what I must have done. Waiting for the sun. Waiting for the sun. Seems like a long time since I've seen you, my friend. I want this time away from you to come to an end. I came to Florida hoping to see you every day. So come back to me and stop staying away. Think about the good times we used to know, living the perfect glow. Chilling here wondering what I must have done. Waiting for the sun. Maybe I should move on and find my own happy song. Maybe it's not my fault at all. Think about the good times we used to know, living in a perfect glow. Chilling here wondering what I must have done. Waiting for the sun.
That's nice.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Wow.
I drove all the way over to Jacksonville to write with Joe, and we're all sunny. We're gonna go to the beach, and it's freaking raining. So we wrote that.
That
Well,
was perfect.
I think you got the perfect song out of it.
Absolutely. Mr. Wayne Sinclair loves it too.
Hey,
How about-
Wayne, yeah.
So how about out of nowhere, change the subject? The first trop rock song I ever got a co-write on was with Wayne Sinclair.
Really?
Very nice.
Very nice.
So
That is
and it was a
awesome.
very gracious give on his part, because what it was he wrote a song for a mutual friend of ours, and I said, here are all the things that are wrong about the song. If I was writing it, pop, 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 pop. And he turned around and did every, like, I don't know how, he must have had a tape recorder, because I mean it was like I went in Dave speed, you know. And he goes, what do you think of this? And I was like, dude, you nailed it. He goes, cool, well, you're the co-writer. And
That's nice.
How nice.
and that to me, like, it got me going on, like, doing this, what we're doing now, because I was like, so this is my first one, and I now tell people, like, that, you know, hey, I'm really old and stupid. Look at me, I got a co-write, you know. And all my friends were like, dude, this is awesome. Like all my friends were like, I'm raising the kids. I'm going to soccer practice. You're writing songs. I love you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, my kids are too old to go to soccer practice, so that's why I don't take them anymore. So, well, let me see. I just wrote this, and I'm not sure if my thing is gonna die or not. Oh, it died.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I don't know if I have the words for the other one. I'll do something else. I'm so sorry.
No.
It's okay.
Oh, I don't have the words. I think I could do it, but then I'll get there and be like stuck in the middle going, nope, that's not it. Actually, hold on. Let me just see if I put it here. It's so new that I didn't get a chance to actually add it.
Oh, so this would be like a premiere.
Yeah.
Yeah, except that it's not going to be. Don't get that excited. I'm trying. Let me see.
Well, while you're looking, hello to Uncle Alex. He is out there.
Hey, Uncle Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down there in Boca. Hopefully he'll make his way to Tennessee soon.
Yeah. So Rick the Stick said you're having trouble with your thing again.
Uh-oh.
That was a whole conversation on the chat earlier. I'm just saying.
Wow.
It was. It was.
Well, I just realized if I have time for one more, I have
time.
I have to do this one anyway.
You know, we run over. I don't care.
Well, what are they going to do? They're going to take you off the air?
Right.
I don't think so.
I mean, the bar's still up until 2:30, right?
Yeah.
So that's all right.
Sure.
What time does the band start?
Well,
2 hours ago.
yeah.
Too bad they were talking the whole time when they should have been playing. So this is the first song. When I got into doing the national thing, they set us up with co-writers. Like, so the National Songwriters Association, which is this really cool conglomerate of like everybody doing this stuff. It's advocacy, like to get songwriters paid to get more money, and one of the things they do is like, you know, co-writing is like a blind date, right? So
Yeah.
hey, can I write with you? Like, you know, no, but I'll write with you, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
so I got paired up with this woman from California, and we did it on the Zoom, and we wrote this song together, and then I sort of like she wanted to do something else with it, and it went that one direction, and then I went back and looked at it and realized that maybe this song was more about me than I realized at the time. So I want to do this, and this is the new version of it, actually, because, hold on. Yeah, I'm going to pull that out. This is not the original debut, because I did this at that place in Nashville this week.
Oh, gotcha.
Sometimes I don't want to get out of bed, feel like sleeping a little longer instead. So I get up and head out the door, trying to clear my head. I get on my bike, I take a ride, pedaling fast so I can catch a glide. Ride down that hill and up the other side, race toward the rising sun, like I done when I was young. There's still a kid in me, a little wild and free, always jumping in with both feet, laughing hard and loving deep, not afraid of chasing after dreams. Still a kid in me, knows what he wants, to be free and not get lost in this big old world. Thank God I'm not too old to see the kid in me. Now nothing is out of my reach. I love to practice, but I never preach. While others head into work, I head out to the beach. I tried the grown-up thing and it just wasn't me. I work for myself and my boss is a jerk, but I ain't afraid to try new things. It's never too late for that. Oh yeah, that's a fact. There's still a kid in me, a little wild and free, always jumping in with both feet, laughing hard and loving deep, not afraid of chasing after dreams. Still a kid in me, knows what he wants, to be free and not get lost in this big old world. Thank God I'm not too old to see the kid in me. Well, that voice in my head, it's saying make every moment count. 'cause they'll go by so fast, no, there ain't no doubt. Still a kid in me, a little wild and free, always jumping in with both feet, laughing hard and loving deep, not afraid of chasing after dreams. Still a kid in me, knows what it wants, to be free and not get lost in this big old world. Thank God I'm not too old to see the kid in me.
I love that.
I do too.
Absolutely love that.
There is a whole life lesson in that song right there.
So that's the new improved version. I think I played the other version for y'all right before I went to go to Hawaii.
Right.
And I played it out in Hawaii. And here's the funny story: the demo we made is all fully produced guitar. I didn't sing on it, and did that version, played it for the people out there. And one of the publishers said, "I really like that song. We're gonna take it." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Did you hear what I said?" Like, everybody's like, because it's a room, everybody's like clapping.
Right.
And I didn't say anything. I let it go. And then the next guy said, "By the way, did you ever think of doing it as like a piano arrangement?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually I did." That's how I write. So the lesson learned was I talked to the guy after and I said, he goes like, "Never saw anybody look so disappointed in getting a song taken." And I said, "No," I said, "You don't understand. I've played the song twice for your people in Nashville." He goes, "I own the blank blank company. We're taking this song."
Oh.
But
Wow.
here's some things that maybe you would change. And so that's the changed version.
Oh.
And I like it a lot better than the other version. So
Yeah.
Very nice.
So it just goes to show you sometimes when you think you got it, you got to keep going.
Absolutely.
Just like a teacher would say, that's pretty good. That's B- work. But if you spend another 5 minutes, you can make that an A+.
There you go.
How am I doing?
A+.
Well, I hope so. Thank you.
Yes. I really, really love that.
Well, we definitely appreciate you taking your time to spend time with us, and because we got to know you better.
You guys
And
are fun.
I love the stories that you've shared with us, and we've had a good time.
And for real, come back anytime. We won't even make you work. You won't even have to play. You can just hang out with us and co-host. And
Wherever there's rum, so will I go.
There you go. That's all you got to do. Come in, sit down, pour yourself a drink, and have a good
This is a perfect
time.
spot, by the way. Like, if you're doing the Florida-Nashville run,
Yep.
Chattanooga is like, I could do it.
It's the perfect stopover,
Yeah,
right?
I think so, yeah.
That's what the Tiki Man always says. He tells the artists that are all coming through, it's a natural stop on the way, and they always have a room available. So
If you could move this whole thing to Key West, just think of all the money we could all save, like renting hotel space. 'Cause I'm fine with sleeping in bars. It's not the first time, won't be the last.
Absolutely. Well, you tell your other Nashville buddies over there. To come over and see us, get a hold of us. And
It's a quick ride from up there too. So
Yeah, it's not bad.
And especially from the borough, as they call it.
the borough.
Yeah, like all those MTSU kids.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, real quick, we want to do some announcements.
Can I say one thing first?
No, go right
Just one
ahead.
thing. I would
Absolutely.
be completely remiss, and I'll try to get done in a minute. I know.
No,
we're
you're
over
fine.
time.
You're fine.
But I just want to say, thank MFG Records for sponsoring the show.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because the most supportive, loving people that got me into songwriting again would be Beth Travers and Dave Signs.
They are
Yeah.
two amazing people.
My first time playing in Key West by myself, I was really blanking bullets, shall I say. And I said something to Beth, and the first thing Beth said was the most calming, like, I don't even remember the words she said. It was what she said to me, and I was ready to go. And I was like, I will never forget that I could have ran, like, and ran away. And she just calmed me down.
Yes.
And that's what she does. Like, and that's what
Yes.
for people that don't know, I mean, MFG, like, they're doing all of that stuff.
Yes.
And if you see this song, I mean, I've had the opportunity to see some of those songs before they were through.
Right.
And it's really cool what they both do. And it's a fun thing to do. And the new Danny Hoy's got a new
Yes.
song out.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's really amazing. And, that's the kind of thing. It's just like, I'm grateful for friends like that to have in this business because they're amazing and I love them both.
Absolutely.
They are.
Understanding sponsors, because like I said, a year ago when we had Dave here in studio, everything went haywire. He's just sitting there and he's laughing.
He's so calm.
And he's like, he goes, It's happened. It happens to everybody. It's happened to me.
Played on the Grand Ole Opry stage.
And he's sitting. Well, I know. I mean, on top of being, intimidating, that your sponsor's sitting right here.
Yeah, right.
You're
It's
a man
funny.
who has been on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry, and you're sitting here, and anything and everything could go wrong in the studio was going wrong, and he's laughing, going, "It's okay. It's okay."
Yeah.
And Beth is
It
the
happens to
same
everybody.
way.
It happens, and we'll move on. And I've carried that with me because I used to be a little high strung.
No.
As the MFG Records thing goes, they're the two perfect. Like, they are not an A or a B. They're
Yes.
like both, and it's not one or the other. Like, there's times they're like this. There's times like they're the perfect professional pair to like work on stuff like this, to have producer hat on, engineer hat, and they're amazing. I've had a chance to watch them do some stuff, and they're very cool. And if I didn't say thank you for them sponsoring the show, I would be an idiot, because I love them both, and I'm grateful. I listen to the show every week partly because they were doing it, and it was like, wait, this is really good. And then I met y'all, and then I met you guys and took the picture, and here we are.
It all started with a photo.
Don't back up.
Yeah, I know. Whenever
Do not enter.
they came on board with Tiki Man Radio, hosting this show was probably the last thing they ever had in mind. But we consider them very, very good friends. They've given us a lot of advice, and we are so happy that through all the stuff that we do, that they choose to stay with us week in and week out, and hopefully they'll stay with us going in through year number 3 of this show.
Well, and appreciate you guys too for doing this. This is a great, I've been looking forward to this since the day we picked the date, and it's fun because it's great to have people like you guys that are promoting other people's music and getting it out there, because a lot of people don't know me and don't know what I do, and they wouldn't unless they were tuning into this 3 hours of music that was supposed to be 2.
It is a fun 3 hours.
Yeah. So what's going on from once you leave here? What you got going on?
Wow. So here's a typical week in the life of Dave Freeman. I am driving home tonight so that I can play a Parrothead private party with Jeff Randall.
Oh, okay.
And then
Nice.
Friday night, I am playing at a HOA where I'm doing a solo one-man band kind of thing. And then Saturday, I'm doing Gasparilla in Tampa.
Wow.
Playing a private party for somebody.
Nice.
And then Sunday, the Trop Rock Junkies are playing at Compass by Margaritaville. And then Monday, I'm writing. And then we start the whole thing over again.
Wow.
Very nice.
So-
well, you
You
already
are
mentioned
everywhere.
you're on Instagram now. So
Yeah, Dave Freeman Live is all of my socials, and my page is DaveFreemanLive.com, and at Dave Freeman Live for everything else, and that's FREEMAN, like OJ. I'm a free man. True story.
Oh, wait a minute.
Is he still free? Is that what you're checking?
No, I was just, you said that, I was going to go.
I really thought you were checking to see if OJ was in. I thought you were checking fine to see if OJ was in jail.
That was just
Arthur James is his first name, by the way. I say that because my birthday was the day he was acquitted.
Oh, really?
And I was supposed to have off for my birthday, and I had to go to work because they were worried about what was going to happen.
Hold on.
Oh, wow.
All of a sudden, my sound effects are going crazy, and you're getting all of them.
That's what happens when you mention OJ.
I know. Everything just goes haywire. Well, again, we want to
My
thank
pleasure.
you
Thank
for
you guys
taking the
again
time.
for everything. Yeah.
Thank you.
And like I said, anytime you come, you are welcome. That seat is open for you to
Well, we'll see you at the
spend time
rendezvous.
with, and we will see each
If
other
not
at the
sooner.
rendezvous.
Absolutely.
Are you guys coming to Music on the Bay? No, right?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No. No,
Maybe
unfortunately.
someday.
Yeah.
We're hoping maybe we'll have to discuss it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll make Key West in November. Again, when things go, when you work for the school, it's kind of a little bit more difficult to
Yeah.
to be able to do those things. But we're going to try to maybe work that out so we
Yeah.
can get down there. But
Well,
we
maybe
will
you
be in
win the
Panama
lottery.
City for sure.
Maybe you'll win the lottery between now
You
and
know,
then.
I have tried multiple times to win $1 billion, and
And then you can start singing Johnny Paycheck songs to your boss.
That's right.
I wouldn't do that. My boss is actually a super, super nice guy. So I couldn't do that. So I'd have to song, sorry I'm leaving kind
I
of
have
song.
5 million reasons why I have to go.
Right.
There you go. Absolutely.
Heck, I'd settle for 1 million reasons.
Well, next week we said it's our anniversary show.
Yes.
And we are going to have a special guest in studio next week as well.
Yes,
so
sir.
I want to give you a real quick taste of the guest that we're having. We're going to have Mr. Nick Walker in studio. So before we go, I'm going to have to play a song of his. This is Smooth Sailing from Nick Walker.
Would be cool if it were cooler, but it's 90 degrees.
I like Nick Walker.
I got my cans in the cooler, just shooting the breeze. Got my sexy beer goggles and my copper tone model on a boat with no throttle that gets better by the bottle. We're just smooth sailing. Got yourself a boat, baby. Taking it easy, smooth sailing. We got hot dogs on the hook, fish will nip 'em in the bud, and my buddy's got a bud going chug-a-lug-a-lug. The ropes are all attached, we're just floating on the water, caught a buzz by the buoy, waiting on the bobber, yeah. So we're just smooth sailing, gets you something that floats, and you got yourself a boat, baby. Taking it easy, smooth sailing. Breaking laws, getting white claw wasted, and the women on the whiskey's time well wasted. Some hillbilly pirates and some recreation medication. No destination, obligations, frustrations, hesitations out here getting naked. We're just smooth sailing, get you something that floats, and you got yourself a boat, baby. Taking it easy, we're smooth sailing. We're just smooth sailing. Get you something that floats, and you got yourself a boat, baby. Taking it easy, we're smooth sailing.
That's right. Nick Walker will be in studio right here on Tropical Country next week here on Tiki Man Radio. Hey, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Thank you again, Dave, for coming and spending time with us.
Thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Appreciate you guys.
Well, spread the word about us that we're a bunch of fun.
Yeah.
And again, thank you so much to our sponsors, JBL Legends Travel. When you plan your next getaway, trust a professional like Joe Leo at 732-831-5200. And when down in Key West, Goaltending Services, they are your hookup to get you out on the water for a great time. Give them a call, 305-916-0990. And as always, thank you to MFG Records Tropical for all that you do for us. And again, like we tell everybody, you're the ones to blame that they have to look at our faces. So
Music for grown-ups.
that's right. Music for grown-ups. So is there, Lou, do you have any words of wisdom for anybody this week?
I just want everybody to have a great week, have fun together, be kind to each other, and there's enough negativity going on. So join us back here next Wednesday. And again, if you haven't already, please join our Facebook page, Tropical Country with B-Dawg and Lou on
Tiki Man Radio. All right.
I missed my cue. I'm so sorry.
That's right.
Try it again. Wait, try it again. I'm ready now.
Tropical Country with B-Dawg and Lou.
On Tiki Man Radio. There you go. Any words of wisdom before you go?
I just want to thank you guys for doing this, and it's been a lot of fun, and I tune in as many Wednesdays as I can.
And we appreciate every bit of it.
And I'm going to try to go rope some people down and get them down here.
Oh, that'd be
Sounds
fantastic.
like a plan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just like that, our time was well done, but we ran over. Sorry, boss. But it is what it is when you're having a great time. So with that, it's last song, last call. We will see you here next week. Same time, same place. Nick Walker, Tropical Country. See you next week, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.
Peace. I know it's been a lot of fun, but the set list is all done. The night was very loud and you've been a good crowd, but you know it's time to run. You've all been very kind, thank you for your time. You put me to the test as I try to address all of your requests for the night. As we look to the moon and the manager's protocol. Well, I don't ever want to end, but for now, my friends, last song, last call. A spirit with his clientele, and the drinks are flowing well. A beer sent from the bar and a healthy tip jar. A handsome tunes that I can sell. It's been a cool room, but it's ending too soon. And they remember to tip the bartender as they surrender to the tab. And they lip sync to the lyrics that they used to recall. Anytime I gotta say those words, oh no, last song, last call. Some came as ones and left by twos. Some still are dancing in their shoes. I break down the gear as we wind it up here. After the last song that I choose, it's the last ride near closing time. The final round chord as I strum the last chords, and the guitar returns to the case. Needless to say, it was a pleasure to play for you all. Here's to toast to everyone as I finally say last song, last call. Here's a toast to everyone as I finally say last song, last call.